Chapter 1035. Who else could it be? I had already promised him, and he killed me. Jing Tian said gravely. I was still too hasty, I shouldn't have promised him. Right now, I am in a difficult position, I have no choice but to become the emperor. Ah! Martial God let out a long sound, expressing his surprise. Don't here, scram, you are making me annoyed. Jing Tian shouted out. My son still needs to gain some experience, this is just a small matter, why is he so flustered? Martial God felt that he indeed needed to calm down, so he slowly walked out of the tent. After seeing his son leave, Jing Tian held onto his forehead, this is too sudden. I am a bit flustered. Martial God who was absent-minded walked into his tent unsteadily. Martial God, what happened to you? Muddle-headed. Is it because of me? I am sorry, Martial God. Baiyu thought that it was because of her that Martial God was scolded by her father. Martial God swallowed his saliva and said in a low voice, water, water. Baiyu, go and get a cup of water for me. Okay. Baiyu hurriedly poured a cup of water for Martial God, and Martial God drank it all in one gulp. Baiyu. Martial God raised his head and called out to Baiyu. Baiyu was confused. Martial God, don't be like this, you are scaring me. Martial God pressed onto Baiyu's shoulders and said in a low voice, Baiyu. You are going to be the crown prince's concubine. Ah, look at you. It is just a small matter, why are you flustered? Look at me, I am not flustered at all. Baiyu sat on the bed with a dizzy feeling, not knowing what happened. Martial God, my head is so dizzy. Martial God directly pressed Baiyu onto the bed and kissed her sweet lips. After a long time, Martial God said excitedly, Baiyu, father is going to become the emperor. I am going to be the crown prince, and you are going to be my crown prince's concubine. Ah! Whoa! Before Baiyu could finish shouting, she was blocked by Martial God. Because Martial God was too excited, he needed to take care of his physical needs. It is not bad to have his wife by his side. Right now, Yi Hua was currently sleeping soundly, and he was completely unaware that Shanghai's side was already in chaos. Even shocking heaven and earth was a little confused. He had to plan properly. The next morning, the weather wasn't bad, the sun was bright and beautiful. Of course, the bright sunlight only referred to the front line of defense. The back line of defense was suffering from the sandstorm. It was really tough on Huang Yun, hiding behind and eating dirt. After waking up, Yi Hua stretched his neck and washed up as if nothing had happened, then went to eat breakfast. Brother, are the dishes suitable? Yi Yuanqing asked happily, waiting for his brother to praise him. However, Yi Hua said faintly, I don't like to eat breakfast. Yi Yuanqing's smile froze on her face. She pouted. She had just woken up early in the morning to cook for her, yet she said such words. However, the dishes are not bad. Looking at his little sister's angry look, Yi Hua felt that she was cute. At this time, if Qingyan knew about it, she would definitely not accept it. When we are angry, why do you think we are being unreasonable? When your sister is angry, she is cute. It couldn't be helped. He had been with his wife for too long, and this sister of his had just come out. The novelty was not over yet. Big brother, Imperial Cloud will be holding a meeting later. Oh, let's go and listen to the meeting then. Yi Hua said faintly. Now that everything is settled, all that is left is to wait for the result. Yi Yuanqing nodded her head and said, Big brother, if it's delicious, then finish it all. Yi Hua. After a long while, Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing walked towards the place that Huang Yun arranged for them to meet. Yi Yuanqing lowered her head and smiled, while Yi Hua lightly caressed his stomach. Big brother, if you can't eat it, then don't eat it, seriously. Yi Yuanqing felt that her big brother was becoming more and more interesting, so cute. Yi Hua stopped talking and had a cold look on his face. The one who said that I am going to finish it is you, and now, the one who said that you are not going to finish it is also you. Just what do you want? Big brother, are you angry at me? Don't I will give you a massage. Damn, I really can't stand this little sister acting coquettishly, my hairs are all standing up. The soldiers who were standing at the side heard it too, and they looked as if they saw a ghost. General Yi, so it turns out that she is a woman, what are you looking at? Stand up straight. Yi Yuanqing glared at him with her beautiful eyes, scaring the young soldier who was at the side to the point that he started trembling. The General Yi from just now is still the most charming one, but right now, this manly version of General Yi, let's just forget about it. Yi Hua said in a low voice, Yuanqing, a girl should have the appearance of a girl, if not how are you going to get married in the future? Anyways, I am already promised to go out. Yi Yuanqing pouted her mouth. That Shan Yu is just a scholar, I really don't like him. Leave this matter to big brother. Yi Hua laughed lightly. In any case, she is still a little sister, how can an ordinary man do it? Yi Yuanqing's beautiful eyes flickered, big brother, you treat Yuanqing so well, Yuanqing will get used to it in the future. At that time, I will have a bad habit of being spoiled by you. Haha. So what about it, no matter how big the matter is, big brother will be able to settle it for you. Yi Hua felt great. Needless to say, I really like to clean up after other people's mess. Yi Yuanqing was also very happy, and her footsteps became much more cheerful. Big brother is the best, a happy smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. This feeling is so good. The relationship between brother and sister is pretty good. The two walked into the place that Huang Yun arranged for them, and Huang Yun was already sitting on the main seat. Huang Li had also arrived a long time ago, and he was sitting on the lower left seat. Even Shi Yun's enemy had arrived as well. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing arrived late, but they did not explain anything and directly sat down. This caused Huang Yun to be very unhappy. Is this your attitude? In another 2 days, I, the Emperor, will be able to see your corpses lying on the battlefield. At that time, I, the Emperor, will have to rush over and stab your corpses a few times to relieve the hatred in my heart. Since everyone is here, I will be making the final announcement before the battle. Huang Yun said gravely. Seeing that everyone was not speaking, Huang Yun said coldly, Deputy General Huang, you will lead 1 million soldiers to defend the right side of the city. General Yi, you will lead 1 million soldiers to defend the left side of the city, and I will lead 3 million soldiers to defend the last checkpoint. Are you clear? Huang Li suddenly said, Imperial General, what is the difference between this and suicide? Deputy General Huang, if you have any suggestions, you can speak them out. Huang Yun said gravely. Just what is this big prince trying to do? Huang Li said coldly, split up the troops and defend. What if the enemy attacks one side? The other side will not be able to provide support at all. Imperial General, have you thought of such a situation before? I have thought of it before, that is why you all have to defend as much as possible, because we do not know what kind of schemes the enemy will use. That is why you all have to be prepared. Who knows, the two of you might even be able to defend against 5 million soldiers, and that would be a great merit. Huang Yun naturally wouldn't change his order. If the two of them dared to disobey his order, he would chop them into pieces. End of this chapter. Chapter 1036. Just now, Huang Li was fighting for the last chance, but who knew that his 9th brother was determined to kill him? You win. Huang Li shouted in a deep voice. He waved his hand and left. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing didn't make a sound. They didn't care much about this battle. They were just putting on a show for the Emperor. In the past, they were putting on a show for 2 emperors, but now, they were putting on a show for 1 emperor. Do the 2 of you have any objections? Huang Yun asked Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing had a smile on their lips. This made Huang Yun very unhappy. Things have already reached such a stage, and the 2 of you are still smiling. You should be begging me to spare your lives. Perhaps this prince will spare your lives. But your arrogance will take your lives, all of you will die. Then, all the military merits will belong to me, and all of you can go to hell. I am the crown prince. The future emperor of the gods. Although Huang Yun's expression was calm, his heart was crazy. This is an illness that was suppressed by Yi Hua. Looking at Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing leave, Huang Yun thought in his heart, I just need to endure for 2 more days. Endure for 2 more days. Yi Hua will be gone, Yi Yuanqing will be gone, and the entire Yi family will be gone. Let's see who else dares to oppose the imperial family. Those who oppose the imperial family can only die. There is no other way. Crown Prince, there is no point in angering them like this. Shi Yun said indifferently. After speaking, he stood up and left. Everyone left, and only Huang Yun was left. All of you will die. All of you will die. Those who dare to anger me, all of them will die. Huang Yun's mutter rang out in the room, it was filled with madness. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing didn't walk far before they bumped into Huang Li. Prince Yi, is everything going as planned? Huang Li asked. He was in a bad mood and was hoping for a miracle to happen. Yi Hua said indifferently, and everything will go as planned. All right, let's go as planned. God bless us. Huang Li's eyes flashed. Now, I can only fight. If I win, I will make a comeback. But if I lose, then I will become a corpse. This is the price. The price of being an emperor. If you don't die, or if I don't live, there is no other choice. But this kind of life investment is worth it, in exchange for better benefits. Seeing that Huang Li had left, Yi Yuanqing asked in a low voice, Big brother, are you really going to kill Huang Li? Yuanqing, who said that I want to kill Huang Li? Yi Hua said indifferently. He seemed to be very profound, and he was like a military advisor that grasped everything in his hands and was able to devise strategies from 1,000 miles away. You said it last time, Yi Yuanqing whispered. Yi Hua laughed lightly, that is because your comprehension ability is too poor. Big brother, you are bullying me, I'm going to ignore you. Yi Yuanqing stomped his feet on the ground, not having the slightest bit of the bearing of a general, causing those seasoned soldiers to be dumbstruck. It seems that only General Ye's brother can control it. This is also a good thing. Otherwise, I'm afraid that General Yi will forget that he is a woman. However, in the camp, the father and son were listening to the latest news. Now, Shanghai was already in chaos. The princes had already started to fight for the throne. It was as if they were going to fight to the death. Jing Tiandi waved his hand and signaled the soldiers to leave first. Martial God, inform our people to create momentum. Jing Tiandi said gravely. Right now, I can only use my identity to suppress them. After all, I am the emperor's blood-related brother. I am the absolute power of Shanghai. What qualifications do these juniors have to fight for the throne? Jing Tiandi had a happy look on his face as he cupped his hands and said, Yes. Father. Right now, Jing Tiandi doesn't even want to fight anymore. Right now, his wife's illness is already cured, and the throne is also waiting for him. Right now, going back is the most important thing. However, this still isn't enough. If I really do that, it would be equivalent to standing Yi Hua up. This man isn't someone that I can afford to offend. Although I have a very powerful weapon, it is impossible for me to hit Yi Hua. Therefore, I still have to cooperate with him. This is an opportunity created by someone else. Let's wait for another 2 days. Just wait for another 2 days. Jing Tiandi was very excited. Who said that he didn't want the throne? However, out of consideration for his brotherly relationship, he didn't make a move. However, this time, my own younger brother actually wants to kill me. Since that's the case, as the big brother, I won't be lenient anymore. 2 days later, there will be a good show. As the time got closer and closer, the soldiers on the city wall became more and more perplexed. This is the lack of confidence towards the future, this is the feeling of perplexity. It can be said that the morale of the soldiers who are defending at the front is very low. After all, these soldiers aren't idiots, and they clearly know what the result of using 2 million soldiers to defend against 5 million soldiers would be. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing on the city wall, looked at the prairie in front of him. A few hours later, this prairie will be dyed with a layer of blood. At that time, this prairie will become a sea of blood. Yuanqing, what's wrong? Yi Hua still didn't wear his armor today. Walking to his little sister's side, Yi Hua asked faintly. Big brother, is this really fine? Hundreds of thousands of soldiers will die. At this time, Yi Yuanqing couldn't bear to watch anymore. I clearly know that this is just an act, but the death is still real. Yi Hua stared at the front, and a black that had already appeared on the horizon. That is better than all of us dying in battle. Yi Hua said faintly. This is already the best result, using the smallest price to exchange for the lives of more people. Recently, I have been a bit benevolent, but it is a bit annoying. After hearing what Yi Hua said, Yi Yuanqing didn't say anything. Soon after, Yi Yuanqing took a deep breath, turned around, looked at the millions of soldiers behind him, and raised the spear in his hand. Brothers! Today is the day for us to show off our abilities. For ourselves. For the homeland behind us. For freedom. Victory. Who? Yi Yuanqing's voice wasn't very loud, but it carried a sense of firmness, a sense of obsession. The officers and soldiers who were present were all Yi Yuanqing's subordinates, and they understood what Yi Yuanqing meant. For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. Who? For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. Who? For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. Who? Head out of the city and face the enemy. Yi Yuanqing shouted out, and the left city gate was immediately opened. However, the people from Imperial Cloud will definitely be observing from the side. General Yi. What is the meaning of this? General has given an order. Everyone, defend. A person could be seen immediately rushing out and shouting out towards Yi Yuanqing. Yi Yuanqing slowly put on his helmet and said coldly, I don't need you to interfere with what I do. General Yi. You are disobeying a military order. The man shouted out gravely. Without waiting for Yi Yuanqing to speak, Yi Hua asked gravely, what is the crime of disturbing the morale of the army? End of this chapter. Chapter 1037. Death Penalty. Yi Yuanqing said coldly. Yi Yuanqing, how dare you? I'm the Imperial General's man. The man's complexion changed, and he angrily shouted. Yi Hua sneered, even if you are someone from the heavens will not be able to save you. As soon as he finished speaking, the man's face began to contort as if he was under some kind of pressure. His body also began to swell up. A breath's worth of time. Bang! Beautiful blood blossomed in the air. Yi Yuanqing did not have any objections to his big brother's actions. He admired his big brother's decisiveness and could feel their morale rising. Everyone knew that only by going out of the city would they have a sliver of hope for victory. Let's go. Yi Yuanqing waved her hand, and the million soldiers stepped out of the city gate with a cold, murderous aura. However, the same thing was happening in the right city. Not far away, there were more than 20 Supremes, led by Shi Yun. They all saw this scene. I didn't expect them to actually plan to go out of the city to meet the enemy. Shi Yun murmured. This method was indeed a bit extreme, but this was the only way to create a miracle. It could be considered as cutting off all means of retreat. The other supreme beings watched this scene silently. They did not plan to make a move. They had their own mission, and that was to snatch the unparalleled. As for the life and death of these people, it had nothing to do with them. The news of them leaving the city to meet the enemy quickly reached Huang Yun's ears. What? They went out. Huang Yun was wearing a golden robe and armor, looking majestic. But when he heard this news, his expression still changed. He didn't expect that they would really dare to go out of the city to face the enemy and disobey his orders. Good. Very good. Those who disobeyed military orders would be executed on the spot. Now you finally have an excuse. Thinking of this, Huang Yun's expression gradually became calm. Since he was going to die anyway, it was better this way. Previously, he was afraid that his orders would be met with opposition. Now, there was no need to be afraid at all. Pass down my order. Prepare to receive the enemy's attack. Huang Yun said in a deep voice. Yes. General. Huang Yun stood at the last line of defense, and he had a question in his heart as well. Didn't Father Emperor already make arrangements? Why is Yi Hua still alive? This shouldn't be possible. Yi Hua should be dead by now. Could it be that Father is planning to kill Yi Hua during the war? The possibility of that was quite high. But no matter what, after today, my name, Huang Yun, has once again reverberated throughout the God's realm. Everyone knows that I, Huang Yun, defeated the attack of Demonic City. I have the ability to sit on the position of Crown Prince, and I can also become the Emperor in the future. With such a joyful mood, the corners of Huang Yun's mouth curled into a clever arc as he quietly waited for the grievous news to arrive from the front. At this moment, Huang Yun recalled what his father had told him before he set off for battle. The enemy's commander-in-chief would deliberately let him die under his sword. Imperial Father's arrangements were flawless. Actually, from that moment onwards, Huang Yun understood that this was a scheme arranged by his father. Not only would it be able to get rid of Yi Hua, it would also be able to allow him to smoothly ascend to the throne. His father was still very experienced, and he still had a lot to learn. Huang Yun wasn't worried at all because he knew that the enemy wouldn't fight their way in. In fact, they would even send themselves to die. Thinking about it, he sighed. For the sake of benefits, they could do anything. Huang Yun didn't send this news back to Lingdu because he felt that it was the same. There was no need to tell his father. Meanwhile, within Lingdu's imperial palace, Huang Feidi and Shan Junren were both waiting for the latest battle report. Huang Feidi's expression wasn't very good. Yi Hua has already been gone for 3 days. Logically speaking, he should have disappeared by now, so why is he still here? Just what is this jackdaw doing? Why hasn't he made a move yet? Could it be that jackdaw is planning to make a move at the start of the battle? Huang Feidi was of the opinion that Jackdaw was planning to make a move at the start of the battle. Rather than hearing that Jackdaw had obtained a complete victory, Jackdaw might as well tell me that Lord Yi had disappeared, or rather, Lord Yi had died in battle. This day is going to be a very difficult day. At this very moment, 2 million officers and soldiers had already finished gathering. How many were 2 million people? Looking down from the sky, they looked like a black mass of people. Just looking at them was enough to make one's blood boil. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, there were 5 million officers and soldiers, and there were even a few ancient godly beasts circling around in the sky. This caused the 2 million officers and soldiers to gulp down a mouthful of saliva. Those ancient godly beasts were more than capable of breaching the city gate. It is fortunate that they came out to fight, if not, their deaths would have been too unjust. However, not long after, those ancient godly beasts that were flying in the sky retreated. This caused a lot of people to be puzzled. In actuality, this was nothing more than showing off one's strength before the battle. On the other hand, Yihua's side did not have any ancient godly beasts supporting them, and thus, their morale was very low. However, to Yihua, this was not a problem at all. This was not a problem at all. If your side sends out ancient godly beasts, then my side will send out ancient ferocious beasts. As the main force on my side, I naturally have to show off my strength. Yihua was wearing a black robe, and he didn't look like he was here to fight at all. He looked more like he was here to take a stroll. However, Yi Yuanqing and Huang Li who were walking at the back were different. Both of them were wearing sturdy armors, especially Huang Li, who wished that he could bring out everything he had to protect his life. However, as a deputy general, he couldn't reveal a fearful expression right now. After all, even Yi Yuanqing who was beside him was very calm. It was as if he was taking a stroll. This Lord Yi is the same as well. Why are the two of them able to be so calm? Just why? Could it be that they aren't afraid of death? The 2 million officers and soldiers opened up a path for Yihua. Yihua stood with his hands behind his back and walked at the front. I feel that this scene is a bit interesting, and it has barely reached the level of the Supreme Overlord. Inside the enemy's camp, Jingtian and Wushan both saw Yihua. The two's gazes were filled with a peculiar color, and they didn't look like they were looking at enemies at all. They should be looking at allies, right? In Jingtian's eyes, this man called Yihua was just like a miracle. It was as if there was nothing he couldn't do, and he was actually able to sneak into an important place like the Imperial Palace without anyone noticing. One must know. That younger brother of mine isn't weak, he is similarly a Supreme Overlord, and yet, he died just like that. This is a bit hard to accept. In Wushan's eyes, this ridiculously handsome man is very mysterious. Looking at his age, this man seems to be around the same as me, but looking at other aspects, this man is much more powerful than me. This man is simply too powerful. Yihua walked to the front of the 2 million officers and soldiers with his hands behind his back, and that calm expression of his influenced everyone. As long as one looks at that face, one would feel that today's matter was not a big deal at all, and it was just like a child playing house. Yihua stared at the 5 million soldiers in front of him. It must be said, the aura that these 5 million soldiers are emitting is very grand, and this kind of feeling is very good. If Yi Zizi and Wei Chang were here, they would definitely compete with each other again. After all, this is what they like. I have some matters to take care of today, so I won't be able to update anymore. End of this chapter. Chapter 1038. It's a pity that I, the Supreme Overlord, don't plan to let them appear, because I, the Supreme Overlord, want to play. After thinking, Yihua immediately spread out his arms. This action caused everyone to go into a daze. What does this mean? Is he embracing nature? That doesn't exist. Yihua spread out his arms. He was summoning the ancient beasts. After a while, the entire ground started shaking, as if there was something moving underground at high speed. At this moment, everyone could feel that there seemed to be a behemoth squirming underground, and the ground was tumbling like seawater. Just what is this thing? This sentence was what everyone was wondering, even Jingtian and Wushan were the same. Just what is that man doing? Yi Yuanqing and Huang Li were also very surprised. However, everyone sensed that the ground was moving towards Yihua's direction, the 2,000,000 soldiers subconsciously felt that this was a beast sent by the enemy, and all of them were on guard. A solemn expression appeared on everyone's face. However, what they expected didn't happen. The thing beneath their feet seemed to have moved backwards, as if it was just passing by. Everyone was stupefied. Just what is going on? Don't act recklessly, brother. Just when everyone was puzzled, the mountain behind them started trembling slightly. It was clear that the thing under the ground had drilled into the mountain. Boom, boom, boom. 3 loud sounds shook the world, and a savage aura swept through the entire battlefield. Roar! A tearing roar resounded throughout the world, and even Huang Yun, who was at the back, could hear it. What is going on? Huang Yun immediately stood up and shouted. This subordinate will go and take a look at the situation right now. A soldier behind him said respectfully. Shi Yun looked at the ancient beasts in front of him, and his eyes were filled with astonishment. Were these 3 ancient beasts summoned by Lord Yi? That shouldn't be possible. Lord Yi must have used some sort of method to invite these 3 ancient beasts to help him. After all, this battle concerned life and death, and Lord Yi had no choice but to take out his trump card. Jackdaw, who was hiding at the side, was astonished. This Lord Yi is so powerful now. He actually managed to call over these ancient beasts to help him. Unimaginable. Seems like I made the right choice. If I can't afford to provoke him, then I shouldn't provoke him. If not, the one who dies will be me. Behind the 2,000,000 soldiers, the 3 corpse Kuan beasts glared at everyone. Their gigantic heads were terrifying, and their mouths were filled with razor-sharp teeth that seemed capable of tearing apart anything in the world. A disgusting stench permeated the entire battlefield. That was the stench of the corpse Kuan beast's breath. Everyone felt that if this continued, there was no need to fight anymore. They would all faint from the stench. This smell was like super smelly socks that had been worn for a month without being washed. That kind of feeling was as if life had reached its climax. Shockwave and Shockwave stared blankly at the 3 corpse Kuan beasts. They were ferocious corpse Kuan beasts from the prehistoric era. If it was used for defense, it would be easy to defend against. After all, this corpse Kuan beast was an underground creature. It was extremely nimble. When it opened its mouth, even great desolate divine beasts would have to think twice. This Yi Hua was actually able to directly call over 3 corpse Kuan, not simple awe, not simple awe. He definitely has another identity, but what exactly is it? The 5,000,000 soldiers were also dumbfounded. They even had a corpse Kuan. What was the meaning of going out of the city to fight? There was definitely a conspiracy behind this. So, Commander-in-Chief, don't be fooled. We should retreat and think about it first. Right now, Yi Hua's brows were tightly wrinkled. He seemed to have smelled the stench as well. Why is this stench so serious? It's so disgusting. If I were to allow them to continue staying here, all of these people would faint from the stench. When that time comes, how am I supposed to fight anymore? Just now, there were only these 3 corpse Kuan beasts that were closest to me, and there weren't any other powerful wild beasts. Thus, I could only let them come over and take a look. This deterrent effect was achieved, but the stench was truly terrifying. I, the Supreme Overlord, am almost unable to take it anymore. It was spitting out poisonous smoke. The 3 corpse Kuan beasts could be seen to have received an order. With a trace of unwillingness on their faces, the 3 corpse Kuan beasts roared out once again, expressing their depression. The 3 corpse Kuan beasts shrank back into the mountain, then retreated. Yi Hua was a bit depressed. I didn't manage to achieve what I had expected. If it was possible, I, the Supreme Overlord, would like to do it again. However, there wasn't much meaning to it anymore. Although I saw that the enemy's soldiers were revealing looks of shock, I still didn't manage to achieve what I had expected. Following the departure of the 3 corpse Kuan beasts, the air became clear again. The 7 million soldiers took in a deep breath. Just now, they were nearly poisoned to death. Seems like if a war were to break out in the future, the best person to mediate would be these corpse Kuan beasts. These corpse Kuan beasts were able to make both sides faint from the poison. At the back. Reporting to General. There are 3 corpse Kuan beasts. The soldier reported with a horrified look in his eyes. His voice was still trembling. It was obvious that he was frightened by the scene just now. Huang Yun's face sank as he questioned in a low voice, "Where did this corpse Kuan beast come from? Did you find out?" Subordinate doesn't know, trash. I don't even know where it came from. Huang Yun shouted coldly. He had a bad premonition. He did not expect the corpse Kuan beast to appear. How was this possible? Seems like it is very likely that it was Yi Hua who called them over, that's right. The Yi siblings seemed to have a well-thought-out plan from the very beginning. It seemed like they had planned to do this long ago. By using the corpse Kuan beast to scare the enemy, the other side would definitely be on edge, not daring to make any big moves. This was a bad thing. If they didn't fight today, where would they get the merit points? Where could he find them? Therefore, they had to fight today. Right now, Huang Yun's state of mind was a little unstable. If they really repelled 5 million enemies, then all the credit would go to that side. Disobeying orders and obtaining victory was the best order. They could not be allowed to win. Definitely not. Go. Continue to keep an eye on them, and if anything happens, immediately report to me. Huang Yun said gravely. Huang Yun was panicking because this was completely different from what he had planned. Huang Yun was very worried that things would go out of control. Father Emperor had already arranged everything for me, and right now, only the finishing touches are left. If I don't even manage to do this well, my position in Father Emperor's heart would definitely fall. Today, I can only succeed, I can't fail. Right now, Huang Yun was very worried. Right now, Huang Li was feeling very great. Just the corpse Kuan beast that just appeared is more than enough to intimidate the other side. It is even possible for the other side to retreat. After all, in front of this kind of terrifying corpse Kuan beast, everything else is useless. However, all of this was arranged beforehand, and this was also to give Jing Tian an excuse to retreat later on. After all, Jing Tian couldn't bring back the record of losing the battle and inherit the throne. The best excuse was that the other side had used a powerful corpse Kuan beast, and for the safety of the soldiers, Jing Tian could only stop this unnecessary battle. Therefore, all of this was just a requirement of the plot. However, in the eyes of ordinary people, all of this was the truth, and they would never be able to see the truth. End of this chapter. Chapter 1039. Yi Hua looked towards Shocking Heaven and Earth. Shocking Heaven and Earth also understood what Yi Hua was trying to do. Now, the second segment of the competition was about to begin. Harsh words. With his hands behind his back, Yi Hua shouted out, "You scoundrels, hurry up and report your names." In order to achieve the effect of the program, Shocking Heaven and Earth calmed himself down and walked out of the 5 million strong army. His armor was majestic and domineering. On the other hand, Yi Hua appeared to be much more refined. Right now, the battle between the two was just like a military advisor and a general. "Audacious fellow, do you all know who I am?" Jing Tian pointed at Yi Hua and shouted out. Yi Hua thought to himself, "This fellow sure knows how to act, not bad." Yi Yuanqing was a little dizzy. He had no idea what his big brother and the person opposite him were doing. Didn't they come to an agreement? Why did it seem like they had a falling out again? Huang Li, who was at the side, was the same. Wasn't everything fine just now? Why did this happen all of a sudden? Jackdaw was shocked. Because he knew that this prince was putting on an act with the other party's commander-in-chief. Jackdaw knew that this man was the one who killed Yihua all those years ago. Now, the two of them were acting like they didn't know each other and cursing at each other. There was definitely a problem with this. If Prince Yi could threaten him, why couldn't he threaten the other side's commander-in-chief? How savage. This Prince Yi was really savage. He really couldn't afford to provoke him. This prince has no interest in knowing who you are. This prince only knows that you will submit to this prince's power. Tremble under the power of this prince. Yihua shouted out loudly with a resounding tone. Jing Tian laughed out loud. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me to submit to you? I'll take your life later. You can repent in hell. After saying that, Jing Tian felt that it was too much. It was a little exaggerated. Hell is opened by this prince. If you want to go, I, the Duke, will invite you to go. Yihua shouted out coldly and shot out a doom's eyes. This caused Jing Tian's heart to sink. Didn't we agree to put on an act? Aren't I cooperating with you? Otherwise, how could these people believe him? Shockwave God, who was standing at the back, felt a lingering fear in his heart. His father's words were too harsh. All right, then let's see if it's you or me who dies today. Yihua said faintly, I will grant you death. After the two of them finished talking, they turned around at the same time and walked into the group. The soldiers at the front raised their shields and slightly bowed their bodies as they looked at the enemy. Yi Yuanqing shouted, Kill! Kill! Instantly, the entire battlefield was filled with killing intent, and a strange aura condensed in the air. 2 million people took the initiative to attack. This caused the enemy to be a little surprised. Their guts were not ordinary. Shuyun felt it. He had the killing intent now, but what he lacked now was blood. At that moment, Wang Yun heard that Yi Yuanqing had actually taken the initiative to attack. He was finally at ease. As long as they fought, everything else was fine. Yihua didn't participate in the battle, and right now, he had already walked to the top of the city wall to observe the situation. Shocking heaven and earth was the same. There was no need to participate in the battle. They were just acting now. As long as he could lure the Supreme out, everything would be fine. Yi Yuanqing made a few gestures and then stopped killing because there was no need. This wasn't a real battlefield and they didn't even know that it was all fake. Your blood is only used to draw out the Supreme. But right now, Huang Li's blood was boiling. As long as one person fell, it would be his contribution. The morale of the 2 million people was very high. On the other hand, the morale of the 5 million people was slightly lacking. It seemed like they were being suppressed. In actuality, looking at the ratio of the number of people, it wasn't very big. It was enough for one person to fight against 5 people. Furthermore, the morale of the two armies was very important. It would directly affect the result of the battle. Shocking heaven and earth seemed to be intentionally going easy on them, which was why he didn't say anything to raise their morale. Yihua, who was standing on the city wall, saw everything. This was the first time he had seen humans fighting. Very ferocious, they simply didn't see the enemy as a human. Every time they raised their blade, they would take a life. What was the difference between them and the mutated race? In fact, they felt that they were even more ferocious than the mutated race. The blood on the ground was getting more and more. The green grass was all dyed red, and the entire battlefield was emitting a thick smell of blood. In the sky above the battlefield, one could clearly feel that there was a special power that was absorbing the blood. In just this short amount of time, tens of thousands of people had died on both sides. Tens of thousands of people's corpses were lying on the plains. They couldn't go home anymore, they couldn't see their wives and children anymore, they couldn't see their parents that they bought years ago anymore. At the back, Huang Yun was very anxious and was pacing back and forth. Report. What's the situation right now? Huang Yun asked anxiously. Replying to General. The army at the front seems to be. Seems to be what? Stop stuttering. Huang Yun shouted out angrily. General Huang, our morale is high, and we are continuously defeating the enemy. What? Huang Yun, who was flustered and exasperated, slapped onto the table beside him, and the table immediately shattered into pieces. These people actually successfully defeated the enemy. No. This is definitely not allowed. All of the credit cannot be taken away by Huang Li. This time, Father Emperor gave him a chance to turn the situation around, and I didn't expect that he would actually be able to do it. This is too fake. General Huang, what should we do right now? Huang Yun tightly held onto the sun and moon divine breath that was on his waist, and after a short while, he stood up, give the order to the entire army. Follow me and kill our way out of the city. That's right. Huang Yun decided to take the initiative to attack. I can't let all of the credit be taken away by the enemy. Yes. The 3 million plus officers and soldiers at the last line of defense all headed towards the front line to fight for the credit. I can't let those few people take advantage of me. However, right now, the number of deaths at the front line continued to rise. Originally, there were only a few tens of thousands of deaths, but right now, the number of deaths had already risen to over 100,000, and this number is still continuing to rise. Right now, the ground was no longer dyed red, instead, it had formed a small stream of blood. This scene was very shocking. Yihua felt that he was still considered to be merciful. In the past, such a situation had never happened before. There definitely wouldn't be any corpses left at the scene. These humans, when they become vicious, they are simply too terrifying. In the future, I, the Supreme Overlord, have to be more careful. Today, I, the Supreme Overlord, was taught another lesson. Just as Yihua was sighing, a series of sounds rang out from behind him. Yihua didn't turn his head around, because he knew who it was that came over. This Huang Yun can still be considered to be able to sit still. To actually drag it out till now, he finally couldn't sit still anymore. Those who are still able to sit still right now are definitely those who are patriotic. After all, that is the last line of defense. If this was just the enemy's scheme, you, the fool, would have fallen for it. However, right now, you still fell for it. If you don't come out now, you will lose the main character in the upcoming scenes. Huang Yun, who was below, saw Yihua's figure. This fellow is actually standing on top of the city wall and looking at us. End of this chapter. Chapter 1040. What are the people that Father Emperor arranged to do? Why are they still making a move now? When are they going to make a move? This man is actually able to face the situation so calmly, as if everything is within his grasp. Damn it. He is actually smiling. He is definitely mocking me. Huang Yun couldn't care less about Yihua. It is impossible to kill Yihua right now, but I have to get the position of Crown Prince. Countless people immediately rushed out of the city gate, and the sound of killing shook the sky. However, when the 2 million people who were bravely killing the enemies heard the sound of reinforcements, their morale became even higher. To them, there was no such thing as being used. As long as someone came to rescue them, then that person would be a good brother. However, to Huang Li, such a sound simply made him want to kill someone. This damned Huang Yun, he actually brought people out. He actually came out to fight with me, this shameless thing, he actually did such a despicable thing. Jing Tian saw all of this, and he continued to wait, just wait a bit more, it will be fine. When Yun saw that Huang Yun brought people out to fight, he sighed lightly. Brainless. It isn't that Huang Yun is brainless, it is that Huang Yun is suppressed by Yi Hua to the point that he can't even breathe, and he is unable to maintain his previous elegance and wisdom. Yi Hua's appearance caused this genius in the past to go crazy, but he hasn't gone crazy yet, he is just about to go crazy. Huang Yun. What is the meaning of this? After killing the enemy in front of him, Huang Li questioned Huang Yun. Huang Yun said with a sunken face, "What am I doing? Killing the enemies. Killing the enemies. You shameless thing, I will report all of this to Father Emperor." Huang Li shouted out angrily. Aren't you afraid of people laughing at you for doing such a thing? You ran out when you saw that you were going to win, why didn't you come out from the start? Up to you. Huang Yun said faintly. Although he pretended to be calm, he was still very unhappy in his heart. I didn't expect that these 2 million people would be able to defeat the enemy. Right at this moment, the originally bright sky gradually dimmed down. Yi Hua raised his head and looked at the sky, they are finally here. Jing Tian also let out a sigh of relief, they are finally here. Jing Tian stretched out his hand and grabbed towards the sky. Li fire immediately appeared in Jing Tian's hand. Martial God, proceed according to the original plan. Yes. Father. Martial God shouted in a deep voice. Today's battle was over. It was time to go back and fight for the throne. When the scene appeared, everyone on the battlefield stopped and looked at the sky. Huang Li and Huang Yun were the same. Their eyes were filled with greed. This was supreme. As long as one possessed supreme, one would be able to become a supreme being. Revered by tens of thousands of people. At this moment, Yi Yuanqing appeared beside Yi Hua. He had already made arrangements to retreat. Big brother, what should we do now? Just watch. Yi Hua said lightly. He was very curious about what would happen next. Gradually, the darkening sky became strange, as if the earth had been covered with a layer of black cloth. What did it mean to be unable to see one's own fingers? He could feel it now. His eyes were clearly open, but he couldn't see anything at all. Just as everyone was feeling puzzled, Firmament suddenly opened his heavenly eye. A ray of light shot out. This ray of light was extremely beautiful, illuminating the entire battlefield. It seemed incomparably divine. If someone with wings appeared now, it would be very normal. This was also the first time that Yi Hua had seen such a phenomenon, and he felt that it was very novel. So beautiful, Yi Yuanqing murmured. Just as everyone was sighing with emotion, a red pearl appeared at the top of Firmament and moved down along with the ray of light. Jing Tiandi immediately took out the picture scroll. However, just as he took it out, the picture scroll in his hand mysteriously disappeared. This caused Jing Tiandi's expression to change. I shouldn't have taken out the picture scroll just now. Father, could this pearl be a supreme? Jing Tiandi wanted it as well. After all, this was a super treasure. Jing Tiandi's expression sank as he nodded his head, this is the primordial spirit of an overlord. My God! The primordial spirit of an overlord. Jing Tiandi murmured in shock. This was truly unimaginable. Shi Yun went into a daze for quite a while, then shouted out gravely, snatch. The overlords behind him immediately shot out, and more than 20 multicolored lights rushed towards the Supreme. In the darkness of the night, the multicolored lights were very obvious. Jing Tiandi naturally saw it as well. He raised the leaf fire in his hand high up, then immediately dropped it down. A terrifying saber energy was instantly formed, and the entire world trembled because of it. From this, it could be seen just how abnormal this ordinary saber energy was. The red saber energy was extremely fast, and along with a world-destroying aura, it attacked towards those overlords. Jing Tiandi's strength was originally higher than those overlords, and those overlords were completely unable to understand his actions. Therefore, this ordinary saber energy was simply terrifying to the extreme. Before the saber energy even came into contact with those overlords, their bodies disintegrated in the air, and even their primordial spirits didn't have time to fly out before they all exploded. That's right, it was precisely that kind of disappearance. When Shuyun saw this, his eyes were filled with shock, and he dodged the saber energy with all his might. However, the saber energy was still too fast, and while Shuyun was dodging, he was still injured, and the entire right half of his body disappeared. Shuyun's body could be clearly seen falling down from the sky, and his eyes were filled with shock. What kind of saber energy is this? I have never seen it before. Just a single saber energy is enough to insta-kill an overlord. Boom! Shuyun's body smashed out a large pit on the ground, and he was on the verge of death. More than 20 overlords died under a single saber energy attack from Jing Tiandi. This caused everyone to be dumbfounded. The soldiers of the deities were all shocked. This is too strong, isn't it? Meanwhile, the soldiers of the demonic city immediately cheered. Their commander killed more than 20 overlords with a single saber energy attack, and there was even one who was on the verge of death. Who is able to break such a record? No one is able to break such a record. Huang Li and Huang Yun were both dumbfounded. This is 2F** King abnormal. What is that weapon in his hand? To actually insta-kill so many overlords, this is impossible. Right now, Yi Yuanqing's face was also filled with shock. This is simply too terrifying. Big brother, what kind of weapon is this? Why is it so powerful? Yi Yuanqing muttered. In the list of known weapons, there has never been a weapon that can insta-kill an overlord. Yi Hua felt the same too. I have a lot of items in my collection, but I don't have any weapons that can insta-kill an overlord. I can only insta-kill an overlord or a supreme overlord with my own strength. Oh, this is a legendary weapon. Yi Hua said lightly. Legendary weapon. I have never heard of it. Yi Yuanqing was confused. Ever since I was born, I have never heard of a legendary weapon. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Then, from now onwards, you will have heard of it. Yi Yuanqing's face was filled with shock. Legendary weapon, is it so powerful? This is too heaven-defying. This interlude was shocking, but the Supreme had already started to slowly descend. Now is the best time to snatch it. End of this chapter. Chapter 1041. As long as he can get the Supreme, then he can become a Supreme Overlord. This is much more attractive than the position of Crown Prince. Huang Li didn't think much and immediately rushed forward. I'm going to become a Supreme Overlord soon. Huang Yun was slower by half a beat, and adding on the fact that he was quite far away, he couldn't make it in time. However, Huang Yun still rushed over. Everyone's gaze was attracted by the Supreme, and they didn't notice that there was something falling down from the sky. A black figure. To be more precise, it looked like a person. Yi Hua and Jing Tian saw it. Yuanqing, you stay here and watch. Yi Hua said, then disappeared. Jing Tian looked at his son and said, retreat, father will go and take a look. Yes. Jing Tian replied respectfully, then led his men and retreated. Yi Hua and Jing Tian arrived at the place where the black figure fell, and they saw that the black figure had smashed a small hole in the ground. Looking at the black figure's back, Yi Hua and Jing Tian's eyes brightened. What a perky butt. That's right, the black figure is a woman, and she's naked. However, Jing Tian suddenly frowned. Who is it? Yi Hua said faintly, one of us. Jackdaw's figure gradually appeared. Jing Tian paused for a moment and didn't say anything. He looked at the perky, but in the hole, it's really white. The woman's hands suddenly moved, as if she was going to come to life. Stand up facing us, don't misunderstand, I don't want to see your chest, I just want to see your face, whether you look good or not. The woman's fingers slightly bent, and her body slightly trembled. It seems like this person hasn't moved for a long time. Jing Tian said. He didn't expect that a person would actually come out from the painting. However, with Yi Hua beside him, Jing Tian wasn't too worried. Jackdaw said, it doesn't look like a good person. Yi Hua was curious why Jackdaw would think like that. How do you know? Bad people don't wear clothes. Yi Hua, Jing Tian, just when the three were chatting, the woman in the hole slowly arched her body and started breathing heavily, as if she just choked on water. However, there's nothing to look at. The three men looked at the important parts, chest muscles, but I look at the face, it's real, I'm not lying. After a long time, the woman stopped coughing and slowly stood up. This woman's appearance could not be considered extremely beautiful, but she was still considered beautiful. This kind of beauty came from her figure, it was simply too hot. Who are you? Jing Tian shouted. The woman's expression was very calm, but her eyes were filled with confusion as she began to look around. This caused Yi Hua to be very puzzled. Miss, please put on some clothes. You're hurting our taste, said Jackdaw, his face a little red. The woman was stunned for a moment. She lowered her head and looked at her body. Then, a layer of black unknown substance appeared on her skin. In the blink of an eye, the black unknown object condensed into a black armor. It was a female version, and it was especially sexy. When Yi Hua saw the armor, he seemed to have thought of something, and his brows slightly wrinkled. Jing Tian noticed Yi Hua's abnormality and was a bit puzzled. To be able to make him frown, was there something special about this woman? Even Jackdaw felt the same way. You're so strong. Why would you be afraid of a woman? Yi Hua asked gravely, you are a guardian. When the woman heard what Yi Hua said, her eyebrows wrinkled. How did you know? Who are you? Are you a guardian as well? The consecutive questions caused Jing Tian and Jackdaw to be confused. What is a guardian? What does a guardian do? Right now, Yi Hua doesn't know what a guardian is. Originally, he thought that guardians would only appear in Kangluo continent. But now, a guardian actually appeared in God's realm. Just what is this guardian? I am very curious about this matter. However, what Yi Hua didn't know was that Qin Yutong also met a guardian. However, the guardian that Qin Yutong met was just a bit unlucky. The guardian's strength wasn't at its peak. A guardian that reached its peak would be able to fight against Yi Hua in terms of strength, and that Su Diao was one of them. I am not a guardian, but I have met a guardian before. What is your name? Yi Hua asked curiously. My name is, what is my name? I don't remember. The woman rubbed her forehead and tried her best to think. However, no matter how she tried, she couldn't remember. A bit of annoyance could be seen on her face. A terrifying aura began to blossom from the woman's body. This aura startled Jing Tian and Jackdaw. This woman is actually so terrifying. How is this possible? Yi Hua also didn't understand. Why did all these guardians lose their memories? Just what is going on? There is also another question, just how many guardians are there, and what are they guarding? There were too many questions in Yi Hua's mind. In order to find out the truth in the future, I definitely have to keep these guardians alive. Do you want to go somewhere? Yi Hua asked faintly. The woman hugged onto her head with both of her hands, seemingly to be in great pain. Along with the woman's roar, the ground began to crack, and the pressure in the air began to increase. This kind of woman is indeed very terrifying. Yihua felt that this woman should be a bit stronger than Su Diao. Don't be anxious, just slowly think about it. We are not bad people, we are here to help you. Yihua said calmly. The woman raised her head and looked towards the man in front of her. Although her face was cold, she seemed like a good person. Slowly, the woman's aura began to retract and became much more stable. Jing Tian and Jackdaw also let out a breath of relief. However, Jing Tian was also thinking whether or not his leaf fire would be able to instantly kill this woman. It would be great if I could try, I'm just afraid that I won't be able to hit her. Where do you want to go? Yihua asked again. The woman slightly looked towards the sky and said faintly, I don't know. Then, you can go wherever you want to go. Yihua could only say what Su Diao said and hope that this woman would be able to understand. After listening to what Yihua said, the woman paused for a moment, seemingly to think about what Yihua said. After a while, the woman said lightly, Thank you, I know what to do. No need to thank me, you can leave any time you want. Are you really not here to harm me? The woman subconsciously asked. This made Yihua speculate that this woman was definitely harmed by someone previously, otherwise, why would she ask that question? However, there might be another possibility, it is hard to say. Of course not. Yihua said faintly. The woman nodded her head, then took another look at Yihua. After that, her body gradually disappeared from where she was. Yihua sensed that this woman went to Kangluo continent. What kind of thing is there in Kangluo continent that needs them to protect? This is getting a bit interesting. Sorry, I have something to do these 2 days, so annoying, end of this chapter. Chapter 1042. Jing Tiandi let out a deep breath. The person released from the painting wasn't a treasure, but the thing she was guarding was definitely a treasure. Moreover, from the looks of it, this woman was so powerful, so the item she was guarding shouldn't be an ordinary item. However, he still had to deal with his family matters. Mr. Yi, I will be leaving first, there are still many things waiting to be dealt with. When Jackdaw heard the way Jing Tiandi called him, he was confused. He actually called him Mr. After all, Mr. has the meaning of teacher. As expected, the two of them were together. Okay, you can go. Yihua said indifferently. Okay, if there is anything in the future, just let me know. I will definitely come back. Jing Tiandi said softly. He wanted to tell Yihua that if there are any clues, just let him know. After all, I can be of help. When the time comes, I will split some good stuff, the super good stuff will be yours. Yihua nodded his head and agreed. After all, Jing Tiandi's leaf fire would still be useful. Jing Tiandi quickly left. Jackdaw said softly, Prince Yi, do I need to do anything? No need. Yihua said indifferently and then disappeared. The news today was too shocking. I didn't think that the protectors would actually appear in the god's realm. What a surprise. Jackdaw took a deep breath. How am I going to explain this to the emperor? I don't know at all. However, when Yihua went to look for the protectors, something happened outside. Huang Li snatched unparalleled. After snatching unparalleled, Huang Li's eyes shone with a golden light as if he was about to become a supreme being. When Huang Yun saw this, he was about to explode from anger. If unparalleled ended up in Huang Li's hands, that would be the same as handing over the position of crown prince, and he would even suppress me in the future. So, I definitely can't give unparalleled to him. No matter what price I have to pay. Huang Li. This is what father wants. You actually snatched what father wants. How dare you? The sun and moon divine breath in Huang Yun's hand shone with a colorful light. It was beautiful, but it also carried a savage aura. Huang Li snorted, "Huang Yun, since father wants it, then let me personally hand it to him. I think you want to keep it for yourself. Everyone, listen up. Huang Li is trying to embezzle His Majesty's treasure. Kill him." Huang Yun couldn't care less. He stabbed out with the divine breath of sun and moon. The tip of the sword lit up the entire ground. "Royal Cloud! How dare you kill me? Imperial Father will not let you off." Huang Li was not someone to be trifled with either. The huge saber in his hand swung out immediately. To think that it could contend against the sun-moon god breath in Huang Yun's hand. Seemed like this huge saber was no ordinary item either. Huang Li. A country has its laws, and a family has its rules. Even if a prince breaks the law, he will be punished the same as a commoner. Hand over the supreme. Humph. Huang Yun, do you dare to kill me? I am the eldest prince. You have no right to punish me. I am a meritorious person. You're just a person who snatches battle achievements. Huang Li's words provoked Huang Yun's heart. Now that Huang Li occupied the right time, place, and people, as long as he went back, he would definitely be able to beat Huang Yun. His position as crown prince was in danger. Huang Yun didn't care so much. The sun and moon divine aura in his hand released a dazzling light. Huang Li's eyes narrowed. Huang Yun. How dare you? Huang Li. You won't be able to escape death. Huang Yun snorted. The two of them immediately started fighting. The soldiers below were all stupefied. Why did the two princes start fighting? Furthermore, they are getting further and further away from each other. However, the enemy's soldiers all retreated. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing on top of the city wall, finally understood what his big brother meant. He indeed didn't want to kill Huang Li, but Huang Yun wanted to kill Huang Li. What is big brother's brain made of? How did he manage to guess this? Right now, Huang Yun was purposely distancing himself from Huang Li because Huang Li had to die today. Huang Li had to die. I won't die. All of my glory will vanish into thin air. Ode to the Scorching Sun. Seeing that the distance between them was about right, Huang Yun didn't hold back anymore. The sun and moon divine aura in Huang Yun's hand emitted terrifying might, and the entire sky rumbled. Meanwhile, Huang Yun raised the sun and moon divine aura high up into the sky, and countless sword flowers immediately shot out from his hand. In terms of strength, Huang Yun was stronger than Huang Li, and it wasn't just by a little bit. After all, Huang Yun's talent was right there. Huang Yun. You are going to kill me. You are going to be killed by father too. A trace of fear appeared in Huang Li's eyes, because he felt that Huang Yun wasn't joking around, and Huang Yun really wanted to kill him. That won't happen. Because you ran away with Wu Shang. Huang Yun said coldly. There wasn't anything strange about the sword flowers that Huang Yun stabbed out just now. In actuality, it was because Huang Yun's speed was too fast. But now, countless golden lights could be seen appearing in the sky, and along with a biting cold aura, the golden lights attacked towards Huang Li. The golden light's speed was so fast that Huang Li couldn't even react in time. Huang Li wasn't willing to give up, and he hurriedly used the large blade in his hand to block the golden lights. However, it was useless. Although the large blade blocked some of the golden lights, there were still a lot of golden lights. Huang Li's body was pierced through by the golden lights, and he looked at Huang Yun, who was in the sky, blankly. Huang Yun really dared to kill me. Huang Yun was forced to the point where he had no other choice. If Huang Li doesn't die today, in the future, it will be Huang Yun who kills me. Therefore, if Huang Li doesn't die today, in the future, it will be me who dies. Huang Yun slowly landed on the ground, and looking at Huang Li who was kneeling on the ground, Huang Yun placed the sun and moon divine aura on Huang Li's neck. Huang Li, don't blame your little brother for being ruthless, it was you who blocked my path. Huang Yun, if there's anything, we can talk about it, I know that I was wrong. If you want Wushang, I will give it to you, if you want the position of the crown prince, I will give it to you, whatever you want, I will give it to you, please spare my life. Huang Li gasped for breath. Right now, the only thing that he could do was to beg for mercy, if not, this fellow will really kill him. Huang Yun revealed a sinister smile, Huang Li. What I want is very simple, and that is your life. If you die, the crown prince will be mine. The throne will be mine too. The entire world will be mine. You shouldn't have fought with me over it. No, listen. Before Huang Li could finish speaking, the world in front of him started spinning, and in the end, he saw that he was kneeling on the ground, and his head was already gone. Very quickly, Huang Li's primordial spirit appeared, and Huang Li fled for his life. However, Huang Yun stretched out his hand and pointed, and a stream of energy directly shot towards Huang Li's primordial spirit. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Huang Yun picked up Wushang, then burned the corpse with fire. However, he wasn't in a hurry to leave. Instead, he picked up Huang Li's weapon and cut his own body a few times, causing blood to flow non-stop. In the end, Huang Li's saber was destroyed as well. Just like that, Huang Yun returned with his last breath. However, after Huang Yun left, a figure appeared on the scene. It was Jackdaw. Jackdaw's expression didn't change much. He simply shook his head, seemingly regretful. On the battlefield, Yi Hua also returned. At this time, Huang Yun and Huang Li had yet to return. End of chapter. Chapter 1043. However, Yi Hua looked at Shi Yun who was on the verge of death. This enemy of mine actually had half of his body sliced off by the blade light, he is truly too useless. Why did I die in the hands of a bunch of trash back then? They are truly trash. Everyone thought that this overlord had already died, but right now, everyone was celebrating their victory and didn't even pay attention to what was happening over here. However, Yi Yuanqing who was on the city wall was looking at his big brother confusedly. However, Yi Hua's back was facing Yi Yuanqing, and he knew that Yi Yuanqing was looking at him. Yi Hua came to Shi Yun's side and slowly squatted down. Yi. Prince. Shi Yun let out a weak voice. Yi Hua said lightly, don't speak, your injuries are very serious right now. Prince Yi, please bring me to heal my injuries, I will definitely repay you in the future. Shi Yun begged lightly. As an overlord, as long as he still had a single breath left, then nothing would happen to him. Yi Hua sighed lightly, your request, I cannot agree to it. Ah. Why? For what? I am injured. Shi Yun was very confused, I didn't become enemies with Prince Yi, why isn't Prince Yi willing to help me? It is also good to have an overlord as a friend. Yi Hua suddenly revealed a strange smile, then slowly lowered his head and said, look at my face, see clearly who I am. Yi Hua's face could be seen instantly turning into a skeleton. Shi Yun looked at the skeleton face in front of him and the red light in that pair of eyes, and he was completely scared silly. The scene from 10 years ago immediately replayed in his mind. Over 100 overlords went to kill the 8 of them. In the end, half of them died, and the other half were injured. This kind of battle situation couldn't even be concealed back then, because it was too embarrassing. But, didn't that skeleton die? Why did it appear? He is Yi Hua. And he is even a skeleton. What is going on? Looking at Shi Yun's frightened and despairing gaze, Yi Hua felt great from head to toe. Are you very curious why I am fine, and who exactly am I? You demon, who exactly are you? Yihua laughed lightly, then changed back to his original appearance. Who am I? I am Yihua. I died back then, but I became a skeleton, undead, you should understand, right? After hearing that, Shi Yun's eyes widened. I didn't expect that. Back then, Yihua really died. However, they became the undead race, and brought calamity to the common people, and now, they actually came back to take revenge. You damned undead. You will be punished by the heavens and will never be able to reincarnate. Yihua said faintly, you believe in the heavens, and the heavens believe in me. Look into my eyes and feel the blazing flames of hell. Yihua said slowly, and his pair of eyes turned into flames. However, Shi Yun didn't want to look at Yihua. He couldn't help but look over, only to see Shi Yun's pupils gradually turning into a lime-like substance, which then spread to his entire body. It was like a piece of charcoal being burnt by fire. Yihua looked at the enemy in front of him and laughed lightly. Along with this laugh, Shi Yun's body turned into dust and fused into the ground. Even his primordial spirit turned into dust. How terrifying! Yi Yuanqing saw it, but he didn't understand why his big brother wanted to kill Shi Yun, and he was very puzzled. Big brother didn't want to kill Huang Yun, but killed Shi Yun instead. This is so strange. Standing up, Yihua took a deep breath. Today is really a good day. However, at this moment, Huang Yun, who had just finished killing people, returned. Furthermore, he came back with serious injuries. General. What happened to you? Huang Yun used sun and moon divine breath to support himself and said with difficulty, Wang Li concealed his strength and heavily injured me, then ran away with the treasure. After finished speaking, Huang Li actually fainted. Huang Yun wasn't faking it, he really fainted. The injuries on his body were very realistic, if not, he wouldn't have been able to deceive Father Emperor. Quick! Bring the general back to receive treatment. Yihua's brows tightly wrinkled. Huang Li ran away. How is this possible? Wasn't Huang Yun more powerful than Huang Li? Why did he end up like this? Could it be that I miscalculated? How is this possible? This shouldn't be. Just when Yihua felt that this shouldn't be happening, a voice suddenly rang out beside his ear. Soon after, Yihua sneered and looked at Huang Yun, who was being carried away. This fellow's acting skills aren't ordinary either. To actually be so heavy-handed towards me, as expected of someone who is capable of great things. But what a pity, everything was still in the hands of the main body. Returning to the top of the city wall, Yihua patted onto his little sister's head. All right, let's go home. Big brother. Yi Yuanqing directly laid on Yihua's embrace and cried. Those officers and soldiers who fell onto the ground will never be able to stand up again. This was the first time that such a large number of casualties occurred. Yihua lightly caressed onto his little sister's hair and said softly, "It's good that you were able to win, you have already saved more people." Big brother, just now, why did you? Yi Yuanqing wiped away his tears and asked pitifully. Yihua let out a breath and said softly, "That's Shi Yun and I have enmity." Oh, is that so? Yi Yuanqing didn't continue asking. If there is enmity, one must take revenge. Pack up, we have to return. The entire city is going to celebrate for you, General Yi. Big brother, you are joking with me again. With so many people dying, what kind of victory is this? Yi Yuanqing was still very low profile. For us to be able to achieve this, it was all because of Big Brother. Yihua smiled and didn't say anything anymore. And Yihua has to put on his armor and go through the motions again. I am truly speechless. After a few hours of counting, only 1,000,000 soldiers were left behind to continue guarding the border, and everyone else returned to Lingdu. However, within Lingdu's imperial palace, Wang Feidi's expression was gloomy. He wasn't happy because he had obtained a complete victory, because he knew that everything was just an act. Yi Hua, that fellow, actually didn't die. Furthermore, Yi Yuanqing even brought people with him and won. Huang Yun was heavily injured. Huang Li ran away with unparalleled. Your Majesty, this is worthy of celebration. You managed to repel a powerful enemy. Shan Junren, who was at the side, congratulated Huang Feiди. He still didn't know that this was just an act between emperors. Huang Feidi endured the pain in his chest and smiled. If not, this would be too fake. However, Shan Junren knew that the emperor's mood was definitely not good. After all, for the eldest prince to do such an immoral thing, it would harm the empire. If this matter were to spread out, the imperial family would be humiliated. Your Majesty. At this moment, Jackdaw's figure appeared in front of Huang Feidi. Huang Feidi slightly narrowed his eyes and asked, Why? Why is Yi Hua still alive? Jackdaw had already found an excuse, so he said softly, Your Majesty, Yi Hua is a cunning person, I didn't even have the chance to kill him. If I had openly killed him, a bad situation would have occurred. Trash. You actually didn't grasp such a good opportunity. You are actually afraid. What are you afraid of? Huang Feidi cursed at Jackdaw, and his saliva even sprayed onto Jackdaw's face. End of this chapter. Chapter 1044. Jackdaw lowered his head and said nothing. However, who knew what kind of grievance he was feeling in his heart? A supreme being was actually being scolded like this. Even if it were two supreme utmost beings, they wouldn't spit at each other in such a manner. However, the reason why Huang Feidi dared to do so was mainly because he didn't know how to vent his anger. Shan Junren broke out in a cold sweat. Jackdaw is a supreme being. Your Majesty, you have to watch your words. If he gets angry, we're all screwed. After a long time, Huang Feidi slowly calmed down and asked, What exactly is going on with the Huang calendar? Jackdaw calmly said, Huang Li stole Peerless, injured Huang Yun, and fled. Huang Feidi appeared to be in disbelief after he heard this. But when he thought that it was supreme and could indeed make people lose their rationality, his eldest son actually ran away. How embarrassing. Also, this time, Shanghai had actually gone back on their word. He actually stood her up. Don't even think about this empress acting with you in the future. Your Majesty, the troops are preparing to enter the city. Your Majesty should be preparing to welcome them. Shan Junren said respectfully. Huang Feidi smashed the teacup, snorted coldly, and walked out of the study. The two glanced at each other. Shan Junren hurried to catch up, while Jackdaw's lips curled into a sinister smile. He disappeared. Outside Lingdu City, all the soldiers had gathered and were tidying themselves up. After all, they were going to walk around the city and enter the palace to be praised by the emperor. Yuanqing, you are today's main character. Yi Hua said with a slight smile. Right now, both Huang Li and Huang Yun were not here, which meant that only his sister, who was a general, was left. Big brother, don't laugh at me. I didn't do anything at all. It's all because of you. Yi Yuanqing smiled gently. His big brother was so humble and kind now. He was so much better than before. He had almost forgotten what his big brother was like in the past. Yi Hua patted onto Yi Yuanqing's shoulder, then mounted onto the war horse. He didn't walk towards the city gate, and instead, he let Yi Yuanqing walk at the front. In the future, if Yi Yuanqing wants to live here, he will need resources and reputation. He still had to go back. Yi Yuanqing knew that his big brother had a bitter heart, so he did not say anything and waved his hand. Millions of people began flooding into the city, and Yi Yuanqing, who was walking at the very front, was indeed very impressive. This kind of image was also deeply engraved into the hearts of the people. With a smile on his face, Yi Hua silently followed behind Yi Yuanqing. At this moment, at the entrance of the Qian residence, Qian Yi and Qian Yuqing also came out to congratulate the procession. After all, even the emperor wanted it, let alone others. This was also the rule of staying here. It was a pity that Huang Yun poked him dizzy and lost the best chance to raise his reputation. How sad. Looking at Yi Hua's figure, Qian Yuqing's heart was finally at ease. The heavens are truly blessing Yi Hua, not letting anything happen to him, and he is able to safely return to the city. Yi Hua also took a glance at Qian Yuqing, and the latter shrunk back, seemingly a little afraid of Yi Hua's gaze. As the group walked by, Qian Yi said in a low voice, "Yuqing, Huang Li ran away this time, so the position of crown prince will definitely belong to Huang Yun. In the future, you will be the crown prince's concubine. Pay attention to your image and don't do what you did just now again." Qian Yuqing understood her father's meaning. She acted like a little girl just now. As the crown prince's concubine, she shouldn't act like this. Why didn't that damned Huang Yun just die? If Huang Yun died, then I wouldn't have to marry Huang Yun anymore. At that time, I would be able to be together with Yi Hua openly. How great would that be? However, I heard that Huang Yun was only injured. Qian Yuqing wished that she could go over right now and stab Huang Yun a few more times, causing Huang Yun to die completely. At the entrance of Yi family's house, Yi Shan brought along everyone and stood at the entrance. Of course, there was also Lu Jing, Daji, and the others. When Yi Shan saw his daughter riding on a war horse and slowly walking over, tears flowed down from his old face. "This is a happy occasion for Yi family, my daughter has brought me face." However, when he saw Yi Hua who was at the back, Yi Shan's expression couldn't help but darken. "This jinx, I hope that he doesn't implicate my daughter." When Lu Jing saw that her son had returned, she let out a heavy sigh of relief. This time, Yi Hua did not disappoint me. Yi Juetian looked at his big brother and revealed out a joyous smile. Just how am I supposed to learn big brother's posture? I am unable to learn it at all. Yi Juetian sneaked a glance at Daji who was supporting his mother. There was no progress at all during these few days. Daji is not interested in me at all. Thus, I can only come to a conclusion, this Daji doesn't like men. If not, how could she not like me? Yi Yuanqing naturally saw his father and mother as well as his little brothers, and he sighed in his heart. Thinking back to back then, I also stood among the crowd and looked at Big Brother riding on a war horse. At that time, I made up my mind that I want to be like Big Brother and obtain such an achievement. And today, my dream has come true. However, this dream was also given to me by Big Brother. Big Brother is truly a good person. In my life, to have such a big brother is my good fortune that I have cultivated for several lifetimes. Yi Hua didn't even look at his biological father and nodded his head towards his mother. Lu Jing also revealed out a gentle smile. She felt that the current Yi Hua could be considered to be sensible, and she felt rather gratified in her heart. Only such a Yi Hua can give others a sense of security. The group moved forward again, and very soon, they arrived at Shan family. Shan Yu stood among the members of the three families, and his expression was very strange. Looking at the surrounding people, they were all congratulating me for marrying a female general and bringing honor to my ancestors in the future. However, behind my back, they said that in the future, I will look like I was beaten up by a woman, and this General Yi will be able to kill me with a single punch. Shan Yu was very gloomy. Having a fiancé like Yi Yuanqing is indeed a great honor, but I really don't like her. Whoever likes a tomboy like her will be unlucky. Yi Yuanqing immediately looked towards Shan Yu. This fiancé that the emperor gave to him. He actually didn't even take a look at me. Yi Yuanqing slightly raised her chin. If I am really going to marry over here in the future, I will first let these people know that I, Yi Yuanqing, am not someone to be trifled with. Yi Hua looked at his little sister's expression. What an adorable little fellow. Gradually, the group walked into the palace. Right now, Yi Hua had a question in his heart. Isn't it said that there are 3 big families in Lingdu? Other than Qian family and Shan family, who else is there? I didn't even see them coming out. I will ask Yi Yuanqing later. Huang Feidi looked at Yi family's siblings who were gradually walking over, and his chest was about to explode from anger. Both of my sons are not here, and today's limelight has been completely snatched away by them. Truly hateful. Yi Hua, just you wait for this emperor. In a few days, I will be marrying Qian Yuqing into the royal family. I don't believe that you don't have any feelings for Qian Yuqing. Let's see how you are going to endure when that time comes. As long as you dare to make a move, when the time comes, you will be charged with the crime of regicide and your head will be directly chopped off. How satisfying would that be? Right now, Huang Feidi revealed out a smile. Soon after, he opened up his arms and shouted, "Long live Lingdu." End of this chapter. Chapter 1045. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. The cheers of 1,000,000 people could be heard throughout the entire Spirit Capital. The morale of the entire Spirit Capital instantly soared, and even the residents wanted to go to the battlefield. It was too hot-blooded. General Yi. This time, it was a meritorious service to defend Shanghai. Bestow upon him the title of Valiant General. Spirit grade, 5 jars of Spirit Spring. There was a difference between a general and a general. The only difference was the word big. Thank you, Your Majesty. Of course, Yi Yuanqing knew that as long as he married, all these titles would be gone. What great general! It was just a nice way to put it. Prince Yi, you've done a great service this time. Huang Feidi shouted with a smile. However, his tone didn't sound like he was celebrating at all. Instead, it sounded like he was gnashing his teeth, as if he couldn't wait to kill the other party. Yi Hua said faintly, "This can't be considered as a meritorious deed. It's just a small matter." Hearing what Yi Hua said, all of the officers and soldiers were stupefied. These are all small matters, then what is considered as a big matter? My God, there was a smile on Huang Feidi's face, but he was thinking in his heart, that's what you get for acting tough. Who asked you to be so arrogant? Prince Yi, whatever reward you want, this emperor will satisfy you. Is your Majesty speaking the truth? Yi Hua looked towards Huang Feidi. With just a single glance, Huang Feidi felt that he was going to fall into Yi Hua's trap. At that time, it would be hard for Huang Feidi to back down. Huang Feidi smiled and said, "Prince Ye's contribution cannot go unnoticed. I have to think about it carefully. All the soldiers will be rewarded. Congratulations again." After speaking, Huang Feidi turned around and left. Farewell, Your Majesty. Everyone respectfully bid farewell to Yi Hua, and only Yi Hua stood there without moving. This caused Huang Feidi to feel very gloomy. If not for the past, then right now, Yi Hua would have been able to make Yi Hua kneel down to him. "Big brother, I'll go check the soldiers first," Yi Yuanqing said softly. "Okay, then big brother will go back first." Yi Yuanqing nodded and began to count the items. Meanwhile, Yi Hua had also changed into a set of black clothes. Wearing the black armor was not comfortable at all. "Now go back and see your mother." However, at this time, Huang Feidi had rushed to Huang Yun's bedchamber, and the imperial physician was treating him. Huang Feidi walked closer to take a look. The knife wound was so deep that the bone could be seen. Wasn't this caused by Huang Li's weapon? There were several wounds like this on his body, and his abdomen was pierced. When did Huang Li become so powerful? Even I don't know. Could it be that Huang Li has hidden his strength? Father Emperor. Huang Yun, who was on the bed, let out a weak voice. It was really heartbreaking to hear it. Huang Fei quickly took a step forward and asked with concern, Yuner, how do you feel? Where do you feel uncomfortable? Imperial Father, your son is useless. I couldn't even protect the Supreme that you wanted. Huang Yun immediately admitted his mistake. It was a very smart choice. Huang Fei sighed softly, it's fine. But do you know where the calendar went? Father, Huang Li actually hid his strength and caught me off guard. He has now fled to Shanghai. As for his exact location, I don't know. Huang Yun started to talk nonsense. Huang Li's corpse and weapon had been destroyed, and the evidence had been cleaned up. He would never be able to find it in this lifetime. Hearing Huang Yun's words, Huang Fei deeply sighed. After a while, he said in a deep voice, Men. Emperor. Announce. The eldest prince disobeyed the order and injured his younger brother. His behavior is outrageous. Remove the imperial title. Arrest him and bring him to justice. Huang Fei shouted in a deep voice. The Supreme was snatched away by his eldest son. This was absolutely not allowed. Hearing his father say such words, Huang Yun felt relieved. It seemed like his father believed him. His efforts to get into the city were not in vain. He didn't even want the opportunity to enter the city, all for the sake of making his father believe him. Huang Yun was indeed a ruthless person. In order to obtain his father's trust, he would do anything. How did Shi Yun and the others die? Were they really killed with a single slash? Huang Fei asked again. Recalling that slash, Huang Yun still had some lingering fear in his heart. Imperial Father, that was just an ordinary slash, yet it created a red saber light. However, before the saber light could even touch the saber light, the saber wind from the saber light killed all the Supremes that Father sent. Even their primordial spirits didn't have the chance to fly out. Hearing this, Huang Fei tightly frowned. In his mind, he was thinking, how could there be such a powerful weapon in this world? Even after searching everywhere, Huang Fei didn't know of such a weapon. Who is that person? Imperial Father, that person seems to be the commander of that place. Huang Yun said weakly. Huang Fei's gaze was grave. Killing over 20 Supremes with a single slash, I have to pay attention to this person. This kind of strength is too terrifying. Huang Yun, take good care of your body. In a few days, you will be getting married, don't look so sickly. Huang Yun was overjoyed. Wedding. This is simply too great, I can marry Qian Yuqing now. However, Huang Yun quickly understood his father's intentions. He still wants to use Qian Yuqing to force Yihua. Imperial Father, why was Yihua able to return safely this time? Didn't you arrange everything? Huang Yun asked puzzledly. Logically speaking, the things that Father had arranged wouldn't be wrong. However, the things that Father had arranged this time were all wrong. Didn't he say that the commander of that place would send himself to death? In the end, the commander of that place killed over 20 Supremes with a single slash. What the hell are you playing with? That guy is a freaking pervert, how could he possibly let me kill him? In fact, Huang Yun was even guessing in his heart that Father might have intentionally said that, wanting me to send myself to death so that he could help Huang Li ascend to the throne. Such a possibility wasn't impossible. Let's not talk about this anymore. Imperial Father has his own arrangements. You just need to take good care of your injuries. Huang Yun nodded and didn't say anything else. Being able to marry Qian Yuqing could be considered as me taking revenge on Yihua. Just thinking about it makes me feel great. Although I can't kill your men, I can sleep with your women and let your women enjoy under me. Are you angry or not? Uncomfortable. Huang Feidi walked out of Huang Yun's bedroom and returned to his own bedroom to ponder. On the other side, Yihua had already returned home and directly went to his mother's courtyard. He first went to report to his mother that he was safe. Seeing that her son had immediately returned, Lu Jing felt happy in her heart. Mother, are there any problems these few days? Yihua asked lightly. He was getting more and more familiar with saying the word mother, and there wasn't a hint of awkwardness in it anymore. Lu Jing smiled and nodded. Don't worry, even if there are problems, isn't Daji still here? There's also me. Yi Juetian stood at the side and said while chuckling. Yihua nodded. It's good that you are fine. This emperor actually didn't make a move. From the looks of it, he doesn't dare to make a move in the city. After all, the commotion would be quite big. Huang Feidi indeed wanted to, but precisely because the commotion would be big, he decided not to kidnap Yihua's mother. End of this chapter. Chapter 1046. Mother, after a period of time, I will bring you out to play. Yihua had already decided that after he finished dealing with the matters here, he would bring his mother out. It was impossible for him to stay here, it was too dangerous. Lu Jing nodded her head, expressing that she would listen to her son's words. She also wanted to go out and see the world. I seem to have spent my entire life in this courtyard, and I haven't really gone out. Seeing that his mother agreed to it, Yihua became slightly more at ease. Soon after, he called Yi Juetian over to take a walk with him, wanting to ask him about the situation. Big brother, what's wrong? I originally wanted to ask you, didn't you say that there are 3 big families in Lingdu? Why hasn't the last family appeared yet? Yi Juetian pursed his lips and said, Big brother, the last family is actually not in Lingdu. Where is it then? Yihua asked curiously. I don't know either, they only appear once every year, and they are quite mysterious. It seems that even the emperor respects them a lot. However, I only heard about this from others. Yi Juetian's words made Yihua curious once again. I, the Supreme Overlord, like mysterious things. Because I, the Supreme Overlord, like mysterious things. No matter how mysterious you are, I will be able to cure you. Do you want to give it a try? There will be a discount for the top 3. You should at least know what their surname is, right? Yihua shook his head. This little brother of mine really doesn't know anything. Yi Juetian felt very embarrassed. This big brother is asking me, yet I seem to not know anything at all, making me seem very useless. They are very mysterious. Although they are one of the 3 big families, other people don't care about this title at all. As for their surname, I have only heard about it before. It seems to be Dong Huang, but I'm not sure. Yi Juetian lowered his head and said. From time to time, he would sneak a glance at his big brother, fearing that his big brother would fly into a rage. However, Yihua did not fly into a rage. Dong Huang. The same surname as my empress, this is a bit interesting. Back then, I heard that the Dong Huang family intentionally let go of the Dong Huang family. If that is the case, what is the meaning of this Dong Huang family? *CK things have become dramatic. If the 2 Dong Huangs could be connected together, then there would definitely be an old drama of family hatred involved in this. As the Empress man. There was nothing wrong with avenging his wife, right? There should be nothing wrong with killing some people, and then inexplicably adding some crimes to it. There should be nothing wrong with exterminating the entire clan, right? This is a bit interesting. Then, when is this Dong Huang coming back? Yihua asked curiously. I heard that they came last month, but it's just hearsay. We basically don't know about their arrival. We only know from the little eunuchs in the palace, but we can't be sure if it's true or not. After hearing that, Yi Hua was a bit disappointed. I have only just come over, and the next time I come over, I will have to wait for around a year. Isn't this too long? Big brother, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's talk about how we are going to deal with the emperor. This time, the emperor will definitely not let this go. Yi Juetian was a bit anxious, but if Yi Yuanqing was here, he definitely wouldn't be anxious. His big brother was now a brave and intelligent person, and he was even more powerful than before. I am just waiting for him to use his final move. That day, it will definitely be very exciting. Yi Hua revealed out a mysterious smile, and this made Yi Juetian's appetite very much. Big brother, do you have a plan? Hurry up and tell your brother. Yi Hua knocked onto Yi Juetian's forehead. You can slowly think about it by yourself. I am going back to my room to rest for a bit. Oh, I'll call you when it's time to eat. Yi Hua replied lightly, then returned to his room. After changing his clothes, Yi Hua laid on his bed and began thinking about the problem. The feeling of thinking about the problem is rather good. In the past, I basically never thought about the problem, and I would just start killing the moment I get into a disagreement with the other party. No matter what kind of schemes the other party has, that is not the case now. Even if it is just killing the other party, there is still a lot of knowledge involved in it. To use a sentence to describe it, killing is also a kind of art, and I am currently developing towards this direction. While thinking about it, Yi Hua fell asleep. Inside his dream, Yi Hua dreamt of his sister-in-law. This little lass is actually tempting me, she is truly tired of living. It has already been many days since I last vented my lust. Today, I will have to trouble you Tong. However, Yi Hua felt that the feeling of his sister-in-law's skin was a bit different today. Her skin is very tight, as if she is very nervous. Even her lips are trembling, and this tender moan doesn't seem to be coming from his sister-in-law. What the hell? I am in the god's realm, and his sister-in-law went out to play. How could she possibly go to bed with him? Then who is this woman? Yi Hua suddenly opened his eyes, and a face that was so beautiful that it could suffocate a person appeared in front of him. Isn't this Qian Yuqing? Right now, Qian Yuqing's beautiful face was completely red. Just now, she wanted to come over to take a look at Yi Hua, but she discovered that Yi Hua had fallen asleep, thus she didn't disturb Yi Hua. However, not knowing why, Yi Hua suddenly hugged onto me, then randomly touched onto my body, and even kissed me and touched onto that place of mine. So embarrassing. Looking at the person that was below him, the top half of the dress was torn off by me, and the spotlessly white and flawless skin was exposed to the air. The skin carried a faint fragrance, and the fragrance was very nice. Meanwhile, Qian Yuqing's appearance that seemed like she was allowing Yi Hua to do whatever he wanted, especially when she was biting onto her lips, it was simply extremely charming. Just like how if you don't dare to do something bad right now, then you would be worse than a beast. Miss Qian, please conduct yourself with dignity. Yi Hua said gravely. Qian Yuqing went into a daze. To actually tell me to conduct myself with dignity, just now, it was clearly you who made the first move. Prince Yi, I have already touched and kissed, it is not appropriate for you to say such words, right? Qian Yuqing said indignantly. Just now, Yi Hua took advantage of me like that, and then said such sarcastic words, this is truly infuriating. Yi Hua said with a deadpan expression, if the crown princess didn't climb onto my bed, why would I have made the first move? Qian Yuqing, I have never seen someone who lies with his eyes wide open like this. Then, Prince Yi, is it exciting to have a clandestine love affair with the crown princess? Qian Yuqing had a temper too. You keep calling me crown princess, don't you know that this is making me very sad? You clearly know that my heart is with you. And you are even provoking me like this. Yi Hua slightly narrowed his eyes. Crown Princess, what are you trying to do? Prince Yi, if I were to shout out right now, I am afraid that everyone would know that Prince Yi is doting on the Crown Princess. By then, Prince Yi would probably not be able to continue living in spiritual capital anymore, right? Qian Yuqing said with a threatening tone. Yi Hua changed his tone and said coldly, You are threatening me. That's right. I am threatening you. I know that you have a lot of plans, but as long as I shout out, your plans will all be ruined. Yi Hua took in a deep breath and said coldly, You are already not the first woman who dared to threaten me. The women who threatened me were all killed by me, and I had them until their souls left their bodies. Yes. Qian Yuqing wasn't afraid at all. Her pair of beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Yi Hua. However, a layer of mist gushed out from her beautiful eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 1047. To actually say that I am threatening you. Why would I, Qian Yuqing, threaten you? However, I am also forced to do so by you, Yi Hua. You only know how to harm me. Bully me. I, Qian Yuqing, do like you, but you can't trample on my dignity. Looking at Qian Yuqing under him, tears were swirling in her beautiful eyes, as if they were about to flow out. Qian Yuqing, what do you want? Yi Hua asked in a deep voice. He felt a bit awkward. After all, Qian Yuqing's clothes were in a disheveled state right now, and she looked very comfortable. It has been a long time since my main body has vented out my fire, and right now, there is an undeveloped one, and that feeling will definitely be super great. But I am not that kind of person. You have to ask yourself that. You were the one who dragged me to the bed, kissed and touched me, and now you're saying such hurtful words. Do you still have a conscience? Has your conscience been eaten by a dog? Qian Yuqing didn't care so much anymore. The grievances hidden in her heart directly erupted. Looking at Yi Hua who was in front of her, Qian Yuqing hugged onto Yi Hua's neck and kissed him fiercely. This caused Yi Hua's eyes to bulge. This woman. He was actually so proactive. To actually invade my lips. Furthermore, you are even groping my body. This is too impudent. Enough. Yi Hua pushed Qian Yuqing away and said gravely. Along with Yi Hua's heartlessness, Qian Yuqing's tears instantly flowed down. Just now, I have already taken the initiative. Why are you so indifferent towards me? Could it be that you don't like me even a little bit? Looking at Qian Yuqing's sad face, Yi Hua's tone wasn't that cold anymore. He said, Go back and rest, I'm tired. After saying that, he pulled up Qian Yuqing's shirt. Damn, it felt really good. Qinya, Donghuang Baiji, this is a delicacy that has been delivered to my mouth. I, the Supreme Overlord, am able to endure it. My loyalty to you too is also unprecedented. In the future, don't say that I'm a playboy. Qian Yuqing bit her lip so hard that her rosy lips turned white. You know what's going to happen next, I'm going to marry Huang Yun. Qian Yuqing said in a low voice. I know. Yi Hua said faintly. Qian Yuqing pushed Yi Hua away, then stood up with her back facing Yi Hua. Although you are heartless to me, I will only be loyal to you in this life. That night, I will end my own life. After saying this last sentence, Qian Yuqing left. This time, there was no hesitation. Yi Hua let out a deep sigh. Why is this woman so stubborn? The first thing she does is to cry, the second is to throw a tantrum, and the third is to hang herself. Right now, she is actually using death to threaten me. All women in the world are the same. Yi Hua continued to lie on the bed and pondered, all the way until the night sky outside the window turned into day. Big brother. Big brother. Yi Juetian's hurried knocking sounded from outside the door. Yi Hua opened his eyes and woke up grumpily. It's so early in the morning, what are you shouting about outside for? Yi Hua shouted in a low voice. Big brother, bad news. The emperor has just decreed that sister-in-law will be married the day after tomorrow. Hearing that, Yi Hua went into a slight daze. Soon after, he let out a light "Oh." Yi Juetian was puzzled. Big brother. Sister-in-law is going to marry someone else, and you're just going to say "Oh." Don't you want to do something? Yi Hua stood up and slowly put on his clothes. Yi Juetian, who was outside, couldn't take it anymore and directly pushed open the door and entered the room. Impudent. Yi Hua wrinkled his brows and shouted out lightly. He doesn't know the rules at all. Yi Juetian didn't care so much. Big brother. Sister-in-law, you have to give me an explanation for this matter. What explanation do you want? Big brother, just what are you planning to do? If you are going to kidnap the bride, count me in. Yi Juetian patted on his chest. As long as Big brother says it, I will climb a mountain of swords and dive into a pot of oil. Yi Hua said faintly, who said that I am going to kidnap the bride? I am not going to do such a lowly thing. Big brother. Then, what are you planning to do? I don't plan to do anything. You. Yi Juetian was speechless. Could it be that Big brother is just going to watch sister-in-law marry Huang Yun? With sister-in-law's unyielding temper, she will definitely do something foolish. Right at this moment, Yi Yuanqing's voice sounded out from outside the house. Big brother, Aunt Lo asked me to come and look for you. Without even needing to guess, Yi Hua knew that it was definitely because of Qian Yuqing's matter. Yi Juetian felt that right now, only mother would be able to persuade Big brother. Understood. Yi Hua said faintly. After tidying up a bit, Yi Hua walked towards his mother's courtyard. Big brother, the matter between you and sister-in-law. Before Yi Yuanqing could finish speaking, Yi Hua interrupted him. Don't mention about that matter. Oh, Yi Yuanqing said, feeling wronged. I was taught a lesson by Big brother early in the morning. Yi Juetian, who was at the side, was puzzled. What's so bad about sister-in-law? She loves Big brother so much, and furthermore, her looks are not any worse than those sisters-in-law. Furthermore, sister-in-law doesn't mind at all. What's so bad about having a wife like sister-in-law? If it was me, I would definitely be secretly happy. Not long later, Yi Hua arrived at Lu Jing's courtyard. Of course, he had to greet his mother first. Yi Hua, sit. Lu Jing said tenderly as she poured a cup of water for her son. Yi Hua sat beside his mother. He decided that no matter what his mother was going to say later on, he would remain silent and not say anything. Lu Jing looked at her son's gloomy look and laughed lightly. Yi Hua, the reason why mother called you over is not to force you to do anything. Yi Juetian and Yi Yuanqing were a bit puzzled. Right now, only you are able to force Big brother to do something. Upon hearing what his mother said, Yi Hua let out a breath of relief. I, the Supreme Overlord, hate being forced to do things by others the most. Yi Hua, you can decide for yourself about your feelings. However, I want to tell you that if you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. Make a good decision. No matter what, you have to ensure Yuqing's safety. Do you understand? Lu Jing said lightly. She did not force Yi Hua to do anything, she just wanted Yi Hua to protect Qian Yuqing's life. Towards such a simple request, Yi Hua readily agreed to it. Lu Jing was very satisfied and did not say anything else. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing at the side, felt that there was a hidden meaning behind Aunt Li's words. It seems like Big brother has been tricked, but I can't feel what's wrong. They had won the war, and now it was time for Huang Yun and Qian Yuqing's wedding. The entire spirit capital was immersed in a sea of joy. Every household hung red lanterns to celebrate. making it seem like the new year. In the imperial palace, there were also lanterns and streamers, preparing for the future crown prince's wedding. This might be an unprecedented grand wedding. Huang Yun was very excited and wished that time would pass faster. At that time, being able to sleep with Yi Hua's woman would be a kind of achievement. Revenge. This is too great. Thinking about the scene of him sleeping with Qian Yuqing, Huang Yun became extremely excited. However, right now, he still had to do something big. And that was to absorb the Supreme. To ensure his safety, Huang Yun secretly left Spirit Capital and ran to a place where there was no one around to absorb the Supreme. At that time, I will definitely make Yi Hua cry. End of this chapter. Chapter 1048. Time passed by quickly. Today. It was an important day for the royal family, the day of the 9th prince's wedding. Although the whole city was celebrating, there were still some rumors going around. Of course, it was regarding the history of Yi Hua and Qian Yuqing. They felt that the best partner for Qian Yuqing was still Yi Hua. At the start, only a small portion of the people were spreading these rumors, but now, it seemed that everyone was discussing this matter. However, Yi Hua, who was the main character, did not even leave his house. This made people feel that Yi Hua was autistic and was definitely secretly grieving at home. Within Qian residences, everywhere was filled with the atmosphere of celebration, but this kind of celebration gave people a feeling of desolation. Within Qian Yuqing's bedroom. Right now, Qian Yuqing was wearing a red wedding gown. There was no expression of happiness on her face. If it wasn't for makeup, her face would definitely be pale right now. Last night, Qian Yuqing had been waiting for Yi Hua to come over. As long as Yi Hua said a word, she would be willing to do anything and accompany him to the ends of the world. However, even after she wore the wedding gown, Yi Hua's figure still did not appear. This made Qian Yuqing feel despair. Yi Hua doesn't want me anymore. Yi Hua has completely forgotten the promise he made back then. Since that was the case, Qian Yuqing knew what to do. Yi Hua, no matter how heartless you are, Qian Yuqing will only be yours in this life. Miss, it's time. The maid outside called out softly. Qian Yuqing took a deep breath and wore the red veil. A vague sense of beauty immediately blossomed out. As expected of the most beautiful woman in the god's realm, this kind of hazy beauty is something no one can compare to. Qian Yuqing opened the door. Other than the maid, her father was also outside. Seeing that her daughter opened the door, Qian Yi revealed a gratified expression. This day is very important. If my daughter breaks the promise of marriage, then Qian family will be finished. Fortunately, my daughter is sensible. Qian Yi nodded towards her daughter, then turned her back towards her daughter and slightly bent down. In Lingdu, when a woman got married, her father would carry her out from the bedroom. Qian Yuqing clenched her teeth, then laid on her father's back. Back then, there was a time. However, the person she got married to changed. Yi Hua, you are too heartless. Outside the Qian residence, the wedding procession had already arrived. The one leading the procession was naturally Huang Yun. A festive red robe matched Qian Yuqing's, representing the auspicious dragon and phoenix, symbolizing a bright future. The dowry was also taken out one by one from the Qian residence, causing the surrounding people to exclaim in surprise. As expected of the Qian family, this dowry was truly generous. Huang Yun was riding on a bright red warhorse. Those who didn't know better would think that it was just an ordinary horse. However, this wasn't the case. This was a primordial divine beast, Rainbow Tai. This was the most docile prehistoric divine beast. This horse would be used during imperial weddings as a good omen. Huang Yun looked at the entrance of the Qian manor. These past few days had felt like years. After waiting for so long, this day had finally arrived. Today was the day of the wedding. He would be able to sleep with the most beautiful woman in the deity's realm, Yi Hua. How would you feel? I really want to capture you and place you next to me. I want you to personally see your woman enjoying herself under me. That should be very exciting, right? With such emotions, Huang Yun's expression became a little strange. The people standing around were also discussing in low voices. I really hope that Prince Yi can stand out. I will definitely support him. That's right, I also support Prince Yi to come and snatch the bride. That's right, I heard that in the war this time, the 9th prince was defending at the very end, sending Prince Yi to his death. In the end, he even ran out to snatch the credit. I also heard about this matter. I don't know if it is true or false. You guys still don't know. One of my cousins saw it with his own eyes. Sigh, why would the most beautiful woman in our deity's realm marry this kind of man? What a pity. What can we do about it? He is the imperial family. Although the voices of the surrounding people were very soft, Huang Yun still heard it. His originally strange expression became even more distorted. If not for today being a joyous day, I would have captured all of these people and beheaded them. They actually dare to gossip behind my back. After I ascend to the throne, as long as they dare to gossip about me, I will burn them all to death. A bunch of unruly commoners. At the entrance of the Qian family, Qian Yi finally appeared with Qian Yuqing on her back. This made Huang Yun's mood slightly better. I finally came out. When the surrounding people saw that Qian Yuqing had come out, they all sighed. She has been married twice, and in the end, she actually received such an ending. As a member of the imperial family, Huang Yun did not get down from the horse. Qian Yi carried Qian Yuqing on her back and arrived at the wedding carriage at the back. The carriage was huge. A total of 50 robust men were carrying the carriage, and red muslin was scattered all over the place. Qian Yi placed her daughter on the seat and said lightly, "Yuqing, don't worry." Qian Yuqing did not say anything and nodded her head. Qian Yi took one last look at her daughter, then got down from the wedding carriage. Reluctance could be seen in her eyes. After sending off my daughter twice, I hope that I will be able to successfully send off my daughter this time. The procession did not leave in a hurry, and they were waiting for the auspicious time. After a long time, the auspicious time has arrived. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of gongs and drums suddenly rang out, and the sound immediately resounded throughout the entire spiritual capital, telling everyone that the most beautiful woman in the entire deity realm was going to marry into the imperial family. Meanwhile, inside the imperial palace, the procedures for the wedding had all been arranged. The imperial family's wedding was held outside of the imperial palace, and the person who was sitting on the platform was naturally Huang Feidi. Yi Hua's figure was also at the right side of Huang Feidi. The person who was sitting on the right side of Yi Hua was naturally Shan Junren, the prime minister. Yi Shan and Yi Yuanqing were both sitting on the official seats. However, everyone felt that the atmosphere was different, and they felt that something big was going to happen today. Everyone was guessing whether or not Prince Yi would kidnap the bride, and if the bride was kidnapped, the emperor would have an excuse to do so. Yi Shan was also worried about this. If this unfilial son were to kidnap the bride, Yi family would be finished as well. Although his daughter was already a great general, this kind of position was practically non-existent. When the time comes for her to get married, everything would be gone. Right now, Shan Junren was also very worried whether or not Prince Yi, who was beside him, would revolt later on. One must know that the emperor had already arranged everything. As long as Yi Hua dared to say a word of no, countless people would rush out from all directions, and this Prince Yi could be considered to have reached his limit. Today, Huang Feidi's gloomy expression was completely swept away, and his face was brimming with joy. Looking at Yi Hua's cold face, Huang Feidi felt that Yi Hua was forcefully putting on an act. When your woman is going to get married, I don't believe that you will be able to endure it. Yihua sat quietly, completely not taking this matter to heart. Instead, he was thinking about that guardian. Of course, there was also that Dong Huang surname. I thought that the guardian with the surname Dong Huang would appear for the imperial family's wedding today, but in the end, I was a little disappointed. The guardian didn't even come. End of this chapter. Chapter 1049. Since he wasn't coming, there were two possibilities. Either he didn't inform them, or he did inform them, but they didn't take it to heart. I like the latter. Since he doesn't even care about the Emperor of the Gods' realm, then he has the qualifications to play with me. I hope that he won't disappoint me when the time comes. It would be best if he's from the Empress's side. I speculate that the plot should be like this. Empress's family is actually the lowest ranked family member. Then, she was framed by someone and appeared on Earth. The following plot was that the deity would bring along the Empress and step on those arrogant leaders, allowing the Empress to show off and slap their faces in all kinds of ways. Thinking about it, it really is a bit interesting. At that time, my Empress should be very happy, right? I'm really looking forward to it. While thinking about it, a smile appeared on Yihua's face. When Huang Feidi saw this smile, his face immediately sank. You can still smile at a time like this. Either he had a card up his sleeve, or he was a fool. What is it that caused Prince Yi to smile so brightly? Why don't you share it with me? Huang Feidi chuckled. Yihua slowly retracted the smile on his face. Your Majesty, there are many different kinds of situations when one is smiling. Then, what is the meaning of Prince Ye's smile? Huang Feidi liked to play chess with people like Yihua, and he felt that Yihua was a decent opponent. Complacent. Yihua didn't pretend in the slightest and said slowly. Huang Feidi didn't expect that Yihua would say such a thing. What are you so proud of? What's there to be proud of? Your woman is about to be slept by my son, and you're still so proud. *CK me. It was incomprehensible. Huang Feidi did not believe it. He asked in a low voice, Lord Yi, back then, you and Qian Yuqing were a match made in heaven. Today is Qian Yuqing's wedding. Don't you have any thoughts? Oh. What does the emperor want this prince to do? Are you trying to kidnap the bride? Yihua asked. Shan Junren, who was at the side, listened quietly. Every word was filled with killing intent. Huang Feidi was stunned for a moment. Then, he laughed out loud, Prince Yi, you really know how to joke. Your Majesty, if I snatch it away from you, will you let me have it? Yihua asked gravely, and his expression gradually became grave, seemingly not seeming to be joking. Moreover, the volume of this sentence was not low, at least everyone heard it. The whole place was silent, and only the sound of gongs and drums could be heard approaching. No one would have thought that Prince Yi would actually directly ask. That was way too daring. Although he said it with a joking tone, but he didn't give me any face at all. Huang Feidi never expected that Yihua would ask him directly. Damn it. You actually put this emperor on the spot. With Yihua's meritorious service this time and his reputation, there was no reason for Huang Feidi to kill him right now. Furthermore, this topic was brought up by Huang Feidi himself. This was the same as shooting himself in the foot. Prince, you must be joking. Huang Feidi revealed an ugly smile. It was very difficult to touch the Yi clan now. Just like in the past, he was in a very passive situation. Yihua, keep pretending. This emperor knew that you would definitely make a move today. At that time, he would eradicate the entire Yi clan. Yihua did not say anything. He raised the wine cup and raised it, then gulped it down in one gulp. This caused Huang Fei Di to let out a sigh of relief. At least he has given me face. If he had insulted me just now, then, Huang Yun's figure quickly appeared in everyone's field of vision. Everyone's faces didn't look like they were giving their blessings at all. Instead, they all had serious expressions on their faces, or perhaps they were nervous. How was this like a wedding? It was more like someone was being sentenced. Right now, Huang Fei Di was one of the nervous ones. He was constantly looking at Yihua. Snatch the bride. Snatch it. If it is a man, then snatch it. Yihua silently watched as the wedding procession got closer. Of course, there was also the bride. The most beautiful woman in the god's realm, the woman who even secretly touched my bed that day and said that I was the one who made the move first. What a liar. Huang Yun also felt that the atmosphere at the scene was a bit heavy. Right now, it was the most crucial moment. Whether Yihua snatches the bride or not, the result would be known soon. However, right now, Yihua was pouring himself a small cup of wine and taking a sip from time to time. He was extremely leisurely, as if he didn't care about anything at all. This caused Huang Fei Di to be very unhappy. Continue pretending. Let's see how long you can continue pretending. As the wedding procession got closer, Huang Yun took the lead to get off the horse. Stepping onto the red carpet in the middle of the wedding procession, all of the civil and military officials stood up to congratulate Yihua. In actuality, all of them were feeling nervous in their hearts. Qian Yuqing saw Yihua from far away. He came today, and he is currently sitting below the emperor. He seems very natural, there wasn't a single bit of sadness on his face, as if I am just air. Qian Yuqing didn't lose her temper. She seemed to have accepted her fate. Since Yihua doesn't care about me, then I don't have to care about myself anymore, Yuqing. 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 Huang Yun stood at the side and called out lightly. Just now, I have already called out to my woman a few times, but my woman actually didn't have any reaction. She seems to be lost in her thoughts. This caused Huang Yun to be very angry. What else can Qian Yuqing be thinking about? She is definitely thinking about men. And she is still thinking about my enemy, Yihua. The wedding is right around the corner, and she is actually thinking about other men. Huang Yun felt that he was about to lose control of himself. Suddenly, he wanted to ruthlessly give this woman a slap. Slut. Just you wait, see how I am going to torture you tonight. Who asked you to think about other men? In the past, I liked you and spoiled you, but you didn't put me, Huang Yun, in your eyes at all. Just you wait. I am going to torture you for the rest of your life. Qian Yuqing came back to her senses and slowly got off the car. However, she didn't place her hand on Huang Yun's palm. Although it was just a small detail, everyone was looking at it. Huang Yun's expression became even worse. He felt as if countless slaps were ruthlessly slapping his face. But right now, I still have to pretend to be very happy and make Yihua jealous. I mustn't be angry. I mustn't be angry. This woman, I will properly torture her later. A red ribbon was immediately sent over respectfully. Qian Yuqing and Huang Yun each held on to one end of the ribbon, symbolizing that their hearts were forever united. However, that did not exist. It was impossible for the hearts of these two to walk together, it was a tragedy from the very start. Huang Yun tightly held on to one end of the ribbon. I am currently a supreme overlord. How high is my identity? Even if you are the most beautiful woman in God's realm, you still have to kneel down and lick me. Even if my shoes are dirty, letting you lick them clean is your honor. Yet, you actually dared to show me such an attitude today, fine. You didn't enjoy the blessings and insisted on suffering. After today. Let me tell you this, Qian Yuqing, I will make you wish you were dead. Even if Qian Yuqing, who was at the side, knew what Huang Yun was thinking, she didn't care. In any case, she didn't plan on living past tonight. Not giving face just now was also on purpose. The officials seemed to have sensed it as well, and all chose to remain silent. If nothing happens today, I will go eat shit. The eunuch at the side had a charming smile on his face as he shouted out loudly. The wedding ceremony begins. Wait. End of this chapter. Chapter 1050. As these two words rang out, everyone felt their hearts skip a beat. As expected, it had come. Snatch it. When Huang Yun heard these two words, he was delighted. However, this joy gradually faded, and his face turned solemn. Qian Yuqing didn't know what she was feeling right now, but she was so happy that she wanted to cry. This dead man. Are you trying to scare Yuqing to death? Bastard. He was much worse than before. When Huang Fei heard these two words, he raised his hand up high. However, he didn't put it down. The smile on his face was very stiff. It was as though what was happening right now was different from what he had imagined. Shan Junren was also very shocked. This is truly something that I am unable to guess, just what is going on. Yihua silently drank the wine, and there was not a single ripple on his face. However, Yi Shan, who was sitting below, was in pain. His daughter had actually stood up. He even shouted out those two fatal words. My obedient daughter, how can you shout out these two words? Don't you know, if you shout out these two words, our whole family will be done for. It must definitely be that unfilial son, Yi Hua. Yuan Qing was such an obedient child, yet this unfilial son of his immediately led Yuan Qing astray the moment he came back. He even helped him snatch the bride. Bastard. That's right. It was Yi Yuanqing who had shouted these two words. Last night, Yi Hua called Yi Yuanqing over to his room. At first, Yi Yuanqing was very confused, but after listening to his big brother's words, he was dumbfounded. She thought that big brother really didn't care about big sister-in-law. It turned out that he had this idea. It was simply too bad. You are going to scare sister-in-law to death like this. Sister-in-law is so pitiful. Although Qian Yuqing saw that it was Yi Yuanqing who was stopping them, Qian Yuqing knew that this was Yi Hua's idea. Right now, Qian Yuqing had decided that she would definitely fiercely smack Yi Hua's butt. Furthermore, smack Yi Hua's butt until it becomes swollen. Who asked him to scare me like that? Just a moment ago, I was about to die, and suddenly, he gave me such a big surprise, bastard. What a bastard. So annoying. Shan Yu was a little uneasy now. This Yi Yuanqing was given to him by the emperor. Logically speaking, she was already his fiancée. If they were to get into trouble today, the Shan clan would also be in trouble. Thinking of this, Shan Yu couldn't help but look at his father. Shan Junren also noticed his son's worried gaze and almost cursed in his heart. This Lord Yi. It was indeed a good plan. He didn't want to do it himself, but let his sister do it. Damn it. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. When I, the Supreme Overlord, do things, why do I have to do it myself? There were very few people who could make this Supreme Overlord act personally. Wives were one of them. Yuan Qing. What are you doing? Quickly sit down. Yi Shan hurriedly said. This is a crime of great disrespect. However, Yi Yuanqing didn't sit down. Dressed in velvet armor, Yi Yuanqing appeared righteous and awe-inspiring, as if he wouldn't retreat from any evil. At this moment, Yi Shan even had the thought of dying. This evil unfilial son, nothing good would come out of his return. At this moment, Huang Feidi seemed a little embarrassed. Originally, as long as he released his hand, the person he had arranged would appear. However, the one who said that was not Yi Hua. Great. Yi Hua. Grow a brain. To actually let his sister do it, not bad. Not bad. General Yi. Huang Feidi shouted in a deep voice. His tone was filled with hostility. Since they were prepared to shed all pretense of cordiality, there was no need for him to stay any longer. Yi Yuanqing cupped her hands and shouted, "Your Majesty." What did you mean just now? Huang Feidi squinted his eyes and his killing intent was obvious. Yi Hua, if you don't give me a good explanation, then I, the Emperor, will definitely make a move on your sister. Yi Yuanqing said respectfully, "Your Majesty, this marriage cannot be married." Along with Yi Yuanqing's words, everyone present went into an uproar. He said it. He really said it. Something big is going to happen today. As the person involved, Huang Yun was about to reach the limit of his endurance. Just now, I was already humiliated by Qian Yuqing, and now, this damned Yi Yuanqing wants to humiliate me as well. I wish I could crush Yi Yuanqing's neck and twist it into the shape of a fried dough twist. Right now, I am a supreme overlord. Do you even know what a supreme overlord is? A single finger of mine is enough to make your soul ascend to the heavens. However, Huang Yun knew that he mustn't expose his strength. If he were to expose his strength, the consequences would be unimaginable. Right now, Qian Yuqing was very happy. Yi Hua, this bad fellow, I will teach him a lesson tonight. Huang Feidi took a look at Yi Hua and discovered that Yi Hua was quietly drinking wine with a very calm expression. Yi Hua's current appearance made Huang Feidi very unhappy. Yi Yuanqing. Do you know what kind of crime it is to obstruct a royal wedding? Huang Feidi was prepared to casually kill Yi Hua as well. Your Majesty, this subject naturally knows, but this marriage still cannot be married. Everyone completely didn't know why Yi Yuanqing was so firm. Could it be that it is because Prince Yi is backing him up? Yi Shan, who was sitting at the side, had an ashen expression. This time, I am really going to die for sure. Why? This marriage cannot be married. Huang Feidi questioned coldly. This could be counted as his final question. Yi Yuanqing slowly walked to the center of the hall and swept her gaze across the officials, displaying the demeanor of a female general. This caused Yi Hua to be very satisfied. My younger sister's aura is not bad, she will be able to take on great responsibilities in the future. Yi Yuanqing could be seen suddenly pointing at Huang Yun and shouting out, because the 9th prince killed his brother, such a despicable person is not worthy. Along with Yi Yuanqing's words coming out, everyone present took in a breath of cold air. Even Huang Feidi's expression became grave as he looked towards Yi Hua again, not knowing what Yi Hua was trying to say. Shan Junren, this old fox, was also calculating in his heart. I must not get myself into trouble. Therefore, right now, I can only hope that Yi Yuanqing will have some concrete evidence and not spout nonsense. In actuality, in the past generations of the royal family, killing each other for the position of crown prince was a very normal thing. However, everyone did it very cleanly. Even if you knew about it, you would still admit it. Back then, did Huang Feidi not kill many people? He also killed a lot of his brothers in order to ascend to the throne. Using the tradition of the past generations, if there wasn't a lot of bloodshed in the battle for the position of crown prince, then it would seem that the dynasty wasn't prosperous enough. After all, there wasn't anyone else who was fighting for the position of crown prince anymore. In actuality, Huang Feidi had also thought about whether or not it was Huang Yun who killed Huang Li. Even if it was, Huang Feidi wouldn't expose it. After all, this was also a kind of ability. Sitting on the position of crown prince, one had to be decisive. However, you did it, and you were discovered by someone else. That's no good. Therefore, in the battle for the position of crown prince in the past generations, the crown prince would always be assassinated stealthily. Just when Huang Feidi wanted to say something, Yi Hua said faintly, Yi Yuanqing, the ninth prince has boundless virtue, how could he possibly do such a despicable thing? You better not falsely accuse a good person. Huang Feidi's lungs nearly exploded from anger. Are you two siblings here to put on a show? Damn it. Your Highness. Every single word that I said is the truth, I don't dare to be the slightest bit impudent. Yi Yuanqing shouted out sternly, appearing to be very confident. Huang Yun had also predicted this scene before, but he felt that he had done it very secretively. Dead men tell no tales. End of this chapter. Chapter 1051. After all, not even Huang Li's ashes were left behind, and there was no one at the scene. However, looking at Yi Yuanqing's attitude, it was as if there was an iron-like evidence, and Huang Fei didn't feel good about it. General Yi. Take out the evidence then. If there is no evidence, that is slandering the royal family, and the 9 generations of your family will be exterminated. Huang Feidi didn't give face anymore. Since you all want to mess with me, I will kill everyone in your Yi family. Hearing what the emperor said, everyone who was present took in a breath of cold air. As expected, the emperor is going to attack Yi family. Even Prince Yi is going to be killed. Today is going to be a bloody wedding. Yi Hua still had an indifferent expression on his face. Huang Feidi really wanted to know what exactly could make Yi Hua change his expression. Hearing what Huang Feidi said, Yi Shan felt a bit dizzy. Yi family is going to be finished today. Right now, Shan Junren was also a bit panicky. Will the emperor take this opportunity to make a move on me? After all, the marriage that was promised previously was also very suspicious. Yi Yuanqing said gravely, Your Majesty, I naturally have evidence. Say it then. Huang Feidi said coldly. Yi Yuanqing cupped her hands and said, That day, many soldiers saw it. The eldest prince took the initiative to seize Supreme for Your Majesty. However, the 9th prince was jealous and slandered the eldest prince for having selfish motives, threatening to kill the eldest prince. In the end, both of them disappeared, and only the 9th prince came back and said some words that can't be proven. These words don't have any credibility at all. Furthermore, in this war, the 9th prince's orders were wrong as well. He made the eldest prince and I be cannon fodder, and after knowing that we defeated the enemy, he brought people to snatch the credit. Such a person isn't fit to be our prince, and shouldn't exist in the royal family. After hearing that, Yi Shan really wanted to faint. You talked for so long, and in the end, it was all your own guesses. It's over. A lot of people had the same thoughts as Yi Shan, but these are just my guesses, they aren't evidence at all. Too careless. Huang Yun said faintly, General Yi, I know that you have prejudice against me, but this misunderstanding is too big. The eldest prince hit himself very deeply, and after catching me unprepared, he escaped in the end. This person is the one who harbors unfathomable intentions. On the other hand, the relationship between the eldest prince and Prince Yi is not bad, and during those few days, they were together every day, seemingly discussing some secret. At this moment, everyone's gaze turned towards Yi Hua. The 9th prince's brain was exceptional after all. He actually counterattacked, truly formidable. He actually said that Prince Yi and the first prince were conspiring to seize Supreme. Although it was also a guess, there was nothing wrong with it. After all, Yi Yuanqing was also guessing. Everyone was guessing, so they wouldn't be at a disadvantage. Qian Yuqing was a little worried now. For the 9th prince to be able to get to this point, he was not an idiot. Yi Hua, you have to be careful. If you really can't do it, then forget it. Yuqing has already understood your intentions, and I don't have any regrets in this life. But now that things had come to this, how could they stop just because they said so? That does not exist. Huang Yun didn't plan to let Yihua off and said faintly, I'm afraid that Prince Yi knows where the eldest prince is right now. Tell me, maybe Father Emperor can look at our past relationship and spare your mother's life. Huang Yun's meaning was very simple. The entire Yi clan had to die. When Yihua heard such a threat, his eyes slightly narrowed. To actually use my own mother to threaten me. Only you, Huang Yun. Prince Yi. Is there such a thing? Huang Feidy questioned coldly. Just now, it was you two siblings who were performing a double act, and now, it is us father and son, right? Yi Hua. Today is the day you die. No matter how you run, you won't be able to run away. Yi Hua suddenly took out a cigarette and lit it up. This caused everyone to be very puzzled. What is this thing? It will even give off smoke, and I have to breathe it in and then breathe it out. With a single look, I can tell that it is not a good thing. Your Majesty, there is something that I would like to ask you. Yihua breathed out a mouthful of smoke and said faintly. Prince Yi, please speak. Huang Feidy had a feeling that right now, Yihua seemed to have given up on resisting, and was already at the end of his rope. Yihua said slowly, during those days at the front line, I sensed that someone was acting suspiciously. I wonder if he was sent by your Majesty. Hearing Yihua's words, Huang Feidy's expression changed slightly. Did Jackdaw's tracks get discovered? How is that possible? It shouldn't be. But since Yihua said it, he must have sensed something. Your Majesty, if the monarch wants the subject to die, the subject has no choice but to die. However, there needs to be a reason, right? Yihua looked at Huang Feidy and said lightly. Right now, Huang Feidy was facing two choices. He could either admit to assassinating Yihua or deny it. If he were to admit to assassinating a meritorious subject, it would be a fact. If this matter were to be spread out, where would his face be? Huang Feidy wasn't willing to see such a thing happen. Needless to say, he would definitely deny it. I'm afraid that Prince Yi has misunderstood something. Why would I kill you? Prince Yi, you are thinking too much. Huang Feidy squeezed out a trace of a smile and said. Everyone present knew that the emperor wanted to get rid of Yihua, but what he lacked was an excuse. Right now, the excuse was about to arrive, and he mustn't drop the ball at this moment. Even if it was a pile of shit, he would still close his eyes and eat it. Then, Your Majesty, why did you send someone over? Yihua asked faintly. Actually, the person that I sent over is naturally to protect Prince Yi's safety. Isn't that? Prince Yi, you are sitting here safe and sound. Huang Feidy said with a slight smile. Right now, Huang Feidy's words made sense too. In order to protect a loyal subject, the emperor went through so much trouble that he didn't even send someone to protect his own son. This was something worthy of praise. Yihua went into a daze, then laughed lightly, so that's the case. Your Majesty, why don't you call him out so that I can properly thank him? Huang Feidy really didn't know what Yihua was doing. He was a bit confused. That person is currently not in spiritual capital. Huang Feidy said faintly. Jackdaw's identity was rather sensitive. It was best for him not to show himself. It's fine. I feel that this person is very strong. As long as Your Majesty gives the word, he will definitely come to the scene. Or could it be that Your Majesty doesn't want him to appear? Huang Feidy's gaze gradually became serious. This Yihua is doing everything he can to make Jackdaw come out. Could it be that he is plotting something? However, if I don't call Jackdaw out right now, it would seem like I don't dare to do so. All right. Huang Feidy agreed. He then sent a voice transmission to call Jackdaw over. Jackdaw's figure gradually appeared in the air. With an outsider present, Jackdaw still had to salute. "Greetings, Your Majesty. You may rise. This prince wishes to thank you for your revenge," Huang Feidi said lightly. He wanted to see what Yi Hua was trying to do. "It was nothing much," Jackdaw said lightly. Hearing Jackdaw's words, Huang Feidi felt relieved. Jackdaw has followed me for so long, how could he possibly betray me? What's more, it's impossible for an overlord to betray me. Thank you, my brothers, for the tickets and the rewards. Thank you very much. End of this chapter. Chapter 1052. Yi Hua looked at Jackdaw, cupped his hands, and pretended to thank him. The courtiers below were also praising the emperor. He actually sent people to protect Lord Yi. The sun and moon could really prove his sincerity. "Your Majesty, this person should be your trusted aide, right?" Yi Hua asked curiously. "That's right, this empress naturally believes in him." Yi Hua nodded his head. What a pity, what a pity." Huang Feidi paused and said softly, "Prince Yi, let's get back to business." "All right," Yi Hua said calmly. "Has Prince Yi colluded with the first prince?" asked Huang Feidi coldly. Jackdaw was by his side, so he was able to calm down. To be more precise, Jackdaw had always been on standby. Showing up now was actually a good thing. No one would say anything about it. After hearing that, Yi Hua said calmly, "Your Majesty, whether I am colluding with the eldest prince or not, let General Yi present the evidence, and we will naturally know." "All right. General Yi. Show me your evidence." Huang Feidi was a little nervous now. This was the most crucial moment. As long as there wasn't enough evidence, this crime would be directly pinned on them and the entire Yi clan would be beheaded. "Your Majesty." "Yes, sir. However, I still want to ask the 9th prince one last time. Did you plot against the first prince or frame him?" Huang Yun replied with a deadpan expression, "Of course not." Yi Yuanqing nodded and slowly closed his eyes. Everyone was waiting for Yi Yuanqing to take out the evidence because it concerned the outcome of the battle between the Yi family and the royal family. Who would be the winner? In any case, one side was going to die today. It would be a lie to say that Huang Feidi wasn't nervous. Of course, there was also Huang Yun himself. Of course, the people involved were also very nervous. Right now, Qian Yuqing was naturally very nervous as well. I hope that Yi Hua will be able to get through this crisis. If the heavens were to punish me, that would be great. Don't go and punish Yi Hua, he is the man that I like. Probably, Yi Hua was the only one who wasn't nervous. In Yi Hua's eyes, this was just a small matter, a matter that could be easily dealt with. As Yi Yuanqing opened her beautiful eyes, everyone's hearts were in their throats. Don't keep me in suspense, hurry up and say it. Down there. Do you have proof? Yi Yuanqing shouted. Everyone immediately stared at Yi Yuanqing, but after Yi Yuanqing finished speaking, he didn't do anything. Standing by the emperor's side, Jackdaw moved. The jackdaw lightly swung its wings, and a white cloud appeared in its center. Everyone's minds were buzzing. Just what was going on? Why did the evidence appear on someone close to the emperor? How could it be like this? Huang Feidi was also dumbfounded. He slowly turned to look at Jackdaw. He had no idea what Jackdaw was doing. Shan Junren couldn't understand why Jackdaw would do something like this. You're a supreme. Huang Yun was also dumbfounded. Just what were the people by his father's side doing? Are you planning to betray Imperial Father? What benefits did that Yi Hua give you that you actually chose to betray him? What benefits did I give you? His true body had given Jackdaw a chance to live. Wasn't this an enormous benefit? It was more direct than any treasure. What are you doing? Huang Feidi questioned coldly. After calming down, Huang Feidi finally understood why Yi Hua called out Jackdaw. He wanted her to admit it. Jackdaw was one of his people. If he just pulled Jackdaw out, he could completely deny that he was Jackdaw. After all, Jackdaw had never been seen before. Yi Hua. You're really ruthless. You even instigated the people by my side to betray me. Your Majesty, I'm just doing what I should, Jackdaw said in a low voice. He had already made his decision. Quickly stop for me. I will give you whatever you want. Don't you want to go out and take a walk? I will allow you. It's too late, Your Majesty. Huang Feidi knew that Jackdaw definitely had solid evidence. Otherwise, Yi Hua wouldn't be so indifferent. All of this had been planned in advance. Yi Hua had probably planned this while he was at the border. In the center, the white clouds gradually dispersed, and the scene finally appeared. When everyone saw the scene, they felt a chill down their spine, especially Huang Yun. His face sunk, and he was filled with shock. The person that his father sent to kill Yi Hua was actually hiding by his side. In the scene, Huang Yun was high up in the sky, and there were no injuries on his body at all. On the other hand, Huang Li's entire body was covered with injuries. It was clear that Huang Li had received a fatal injury. Just this scene alone was enough to prove that Huang Yun's words were all lies. Huang Yun landed in front of Huang Li, placed his sword on Huang Li's neck, and said coldly, Huang Li, don't blame your little brother for being ruthless. You were the one who blocked my path. Huang Yun's words were extremely ironic. Just a moment ago, Huang Yun swore that he was innocent, but in the end, it was all a lie. Right now, Huang Yun's face was pale, and he couldn't focus at all. Everyone listened to Huang Li's pleas. How sorrowful. He wasn't killed by the enemy, but was killed by his half-brother. When everyone heard Huang Yun say that he wanted the position of crown prince, the position of emperor, everyone felt that Huang Yun's ambition had swelled. Even Huang Feidi felt it. Huang Yun's sinister scene also appeared. Without any mercy, he cut off Huang Li's head. This scene was truly shocking. Although everyone knew that the royal family was fighting, this was the first time they saw evidence. It was truly frightening. For the position of crown prince, for the position of emperor, he was truly unscrupulous. Next, everyone witnessed how ruthless Huang Yun was towards himself. After taking supreme, he burned the corpse, and in the end, he even poured himself half to death. This kind of person was truly terrifying. It made one's hair stand on end. The scene ended here. The white clouds gradually dispersed, and it was as if they were never there. Everyone was silent, no one said a single word, because they were all shocked. Qian Yuqing also felt that it was inconceivable. This Huang Yun is so vicious, unimaginable. After a long time, Yi Hua said faintly, Your Majesty, the 9th prince plotted against the eldest prince, framed the eldest prince. What crime is this? Following Yi Hua's words, everyone woke up. Shan Junren understood Prince Ye's intention. Shock appeared on his face. So Prince Yi did so many things just to see it. The emperor killed his son. His thoughts were already meticulous to the point that it was terrifying. Originally, I thought that the blood of the royal family and the blood of the royal family would suddenly appear on Huang Li, but it turns out that it wasn't over. Yi Yuanqing also only found out about his big brother's intention last night. So, from the start to the end, the entire arrangement was to let the emperor personally kill his favorite son. After hearing about it, Yi Yuanqing felt that his entire body went numb. Big Brother has become so terrifying. But when he thought about how the Emperor wanted to kill his entire family, Big Brother only wanted the Emperor to kill his son, he felt that it wasn't a big deal. This was a battle of life and death, but Big Brother was obviously going to win. Big Brother would never lose. Big Brother is the strongest. End of this chapter. Chapter 1053. Ripples appeared in Qian Yuqing's beautiful eyes. As expected, the man that I fancy is the most formidable. Looking at Yi Hua's expression that seems to have everything planned out, my God, so charming, indeed, the charm that the current Yi Hua was emitting was limitless. To be able to make an emperor of a god's realm so angry that he was speechless, Yi Hua was probably the only person in history who was able to do so. This was the product of the combination of great strength and great brainpower. I, the Supreme Overlord, am finally able to put down the butcher's knife and let others pick up the butcher's knife and cut down my own people. This kind of feeling of accomplishment is really great. That's why I, the Supreme Overlord, am saying that cartoons are very fun to watch. Back then, I really didn't watch Detective Conan for nothing. I learned all kinds of misdirection, and I even managed to use them. Huang Feidi also understood Yi Hua's intentions. Yi Hua actually wants me to kill my son. This bastard. He had been plotting this all along. It had been like this from the very beginning. He clearly had a lot of chances to kill Huang Yun and Huang Li. In the end, he made his own sons kill each other, and even wanted this emperor to kill his own son. Yi Hua, your heart is really getting more and more vicious. In the past, you wanted my throne, but now, you want to see my people kill each other. You're even more King vicious than me. Imperial Father. I'm innocent. All of this is fake. This person is definitely colluding with Yi Hua. How dare you frame me? Huang Yun hurriedly quibbled. He absolutely could not admit to this matter. As long as he admitted it, he would have no other choice but to die. As for Huang Yun, it was fine if Huang Feidi wanted to protect his son. But now was not the time to worry about whether Huang Yun had killed Huang Li or not. I can't let Yi Hua have his way. Even if I lose my face, I can't let Yi Hua have his way. Just like what Huang Yun had said, his subordinates had already betrayed him and colluded with Lord Yi to harm loyal subjects. Yi Hua was still too young, and he didn't know how ruthless the people from the royal family were. Sometimes, for the sake of their face, they would do anything, by hook or by crook, and at other times, for the sake of the royal family's face, they would do anything, by hook or by crook. Yi Hua was young, but that did not mean that Qian Yuqing was young. Qian Yuqing understood very well what the emperor wanted to do right now. Your Majesty, I have an item here that can be used to determine if what the ninth prince said is the truth or not. Qian Yuqing could be seen stretching out her palm, and a gemstone could be seen lying on Qian Yuqing's palm. Isn't this the soul gem? When Huang Yun saw the gem in Qian Yuqing's hand, he wanted to kill her. Being betrayed by the woman he loved, this kind of feeling was driving Huang Yun crazy. His whole body was trembling. Huang Yun's eyes gradually became bloodshot. He looked very terrifying. As for Huang Yun, he looked at his high and mighty father. Huang Feidi understood what his son meant. He wanted him to make a decision quickly. Think of a way. Your Majesty, I feel that we can let the ninth prince try to prove his innocence. Huang Feidi stared blankly at Shan Junren. He couldn't understand even if he was beaten to death. Why did even Shan Junren betray him? The two people by his side had both betrayed him. Yi Hua. How did you do it? Shan Junren was also taking a gamble. He also chose to stand on Yi Hua's side, because the things that the emperor did were too suspicious, and Shan Junren was also thinking for the sake of the entire Shan family. Shan Yu knew what his father meant. The emperor betrothed Yi Yuanqing to him, and it seemed like he had the intention to make a move. After all, everything was fine. Why did the emperor send Yi Yuanqing to the Shan clan? However, Huang Feidi's initial intention was to remove Yi Yuanqing's official position. Sending him to the Shan clan was also a warning. However, Shan Junren mistook this warning as Yi Yuanqing's intention to make a move, causing him to stand on Yi Hua's side. Yi Hua smoked his cigarette. This old man has good eyesight. A wise man submits to circumstances. Although Shan Junren had misunderstood the emperor's meaning, he had indirectly saved his life. It was still worth it. Even the prime minister was standing on Lord Ye's side. Everyone felt that Lord Ye's authority was overflowing, and he was suppressing the emperor. Your Majesty, what the prime minister said is right, let the 9th prince try. This way, the people of the world will have nothing to say. The officials began pleading. This caused Huang Feidi to have the urge to kill someone. I just missed a great opportunity. My words were interrupted by this Qian Yuqing. This adulterous couple, they were acting from the very start. Damn it, I fell for their tricks. Yi Yuanqing looked at Huang Yun, who had a gloomy expression, and said faintly, 9th prince, it can't be that you don't dare to, right? Huang Yun slowly raised his head and glared at Yi Yuanqing with his pair of venomous eyes. It was as if he wanted to eat Yi Yuanqing's flesh to vent the hatred in his heart. Yi Yuanqing walked in front of Qian Yuqing and winked at his sister-in-law. Qian Yuqing did the same as well. This small detail was seen by Huang Yun, and he was no longer able to suppress his anger. Damn these two women. I swear, I will use the cruelest method to make you two wish you were dead. Yi Yuanqing, who received the spirit gem, walked to Huang Yun's side. Please, Your Highness the 9th prince. Huang Yun looked at the spirit gem in Yi Yuanqing's hand. That day, I shouldn't have listened to Qian Yuqing and given this spirit gem to her. But now, it actually became a tool to take my life. 9th prince, everyone is still waiting, don't miss the auspicious time. Right now, Yi Yuanqing's words were filled with sarcasm. One couldn't help but say that Yi Hua was indeed very good at leading bad people. Huang Yun held on to the spirit gem with his hand, seemingly wanting to crush the spirit gem. At that time, there would be no tool to prove it. But after holding on to the spirit gem for a long time, the spirit gem in his hand did not have any reaction. This caused Huang Yun to feel surprised. How is this possible? 9th prince, did you plot against the 1st prince? Yi Yuanqing didn't waste any time and went straight to the point. Huang Yun didn't say anything. He held the spirit gem tightly in his hand and looked at his father. Of course, there was also that damned Yi Hua. He could actually sit there so leisurely. Even if I have to die. And in front of you. I killed your woman. Thus, Huang Yun's next move shocked everyone. This was something that no one had ever thought of. On the day of the wedding, the groom placed a sword on the bride's neck with a ferocious look on his face. When everyone saw Huang Yun's actions, they knew what it meant. This was no different from admitting it. Seeing his son's actions, Huang Feidi slowly closed his eyes and let out a breath. In his heart, he was thinking, kill. Kill Yi Hua's woman. Then run. This is your last chance to live. Royal Cloud. What are you doing? Yi Yuanqing chided. He didn't expect Huang Yun to do such a thing. It was too extreme. Huang Yun was also forced into a corner. His father had no other choice but to save himself. But at the same time, he had to kill this woman. Yi Yuanqing. What do you think I am doing? This woman is still thinking of another man today. The sun and moon god's breath in Huang Yun's hand emitted a boiling hot current, burning Qian Yuqing's jade neck. Looking at this scene, Yihua didn't say anything. End of this chapter. Chapter 1054. It is normal for this woman to think of me. It is normal for all the women in the world to think of me. After all, I am outstanding, and no one can compare to me. The officials watched as Huang Yun prepared to kill Qian Yuqing, and the emperor didn't care. He didn't even care about Prince Yi. What is going on? Yi Hua! Huang Yun roared. Yi Hua's eyes floated towards Huang Yun, and with a look of contempt, he said, "What are you calling this prince for? Today, I will let you see your woman die here." Huang Yun had a ferocious expression on his face. Veins bulged on his forehead. He had lost his usual recuperation, and now he looked like a butcher, a mindless butcher. Yi Hua said faintly, "She is not my woman." Pretending. You are pretending. Isn't everything you've done today for her? Huang Yun roared angrily. His voice was a little hoarse. Yi Hua flicked the ash off his cigarette. This action of disdain almost made Huang Yun bleed. With your strength, it doesn't seem to be enough to kill her. Yi Hua said faintly. You are mocking me for not having strength. This damned Yi Hua. I am a supreme overlord now. Do you know what a supreme overlord is? I can kill you with a finger. Huang Yun roared. Following this sentence, the entire place became silent. Huang Yun admitted it. The ninth prince is already a supreme overlord. Even so, he will lose the throne. However, he is already a supreme overlord, so why would he care about the throne? He will still be respected by everyone. After all, his strength is right there. Just like what Huang Yun said, he can kill him with a finger. Then, what do you want? Yi Hua asked curiously. Kneel in front of me and say that I am the strongest. Huang Yun roared. It seems like Yi Hua is a huge shadow in Huang Yun's heart. He wants Yi Hua to admit that he, Huang Yun, is the strongest. Yi Hua said faintly, you are a spicy chicken. Huang Fei clenched his teeth. Calling my son a spicy chicken in front of me is the same as calling me a spicy chicken. But what can I do now? I have lost this time, and there is nothing I can do now. The only thing he could do now was to protect the face of the royal family. Huang Yun, hurry up and leave after killing them. You don't have much time left. Huang Yun's hands were trembling. Even at this point in time, he was still calling him a piece of trash. I want to kill Qian Yuqing. Go ahead and kill them. Yi Hua said faintly. You. Towards Yi Hua's attitude, Huang Yun was already on the verge of collapsing. Shouldn't Yi Hua be coming over to beg me? Even Qian Yuqing, who was beside him, stopped talking. What are you two doing? Say something. Say that you don't want to die. The more tragic, the better. Hurry up and say it. Bastard. I want to hear your pitiful words. Go die. The crazed Huang Yun moved. Everyone was stupefied. Huang Yun really killed him. Huang Yun's sword stabbed into Qian Yuqing's abdomen again and again. Every stab was filled with deep hatred. The woman he loved the most in the past had betrayed him. He could only end it all with death. Huang Yun didn't even know how many times he had swung his sword. He only stopped when the anger in his heart lessened. However, Huang Yun suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why isn't she bleeding? Huang Yun lifted up Qian Yuqing's red veil, and his smiling face could be seen. It is indeed Qian Yuqing. Qian Yuqing could be seen moving closer to Huang Yun's ear with a smile and said softly, You can't afford to offend my woman. After hearing this, Huang Yun felt as if he was struck by lightning. That voice just now. Huang Yun looked towards Yihua. Meanwhile, Qian Yuqing's figure transformed into a flower and dissipated. That wasn't Qian Yuqing at all. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing at the side, revealed a smile. Just now, when he winked at sister-in-law, the real Qian Yuqing was switched. This was naturally one of his big brother's plans. He was afraid that Huang Yun would go crazy and kill sister-in-law. However, Yi Yuanqing felt that why didn't Big Brother personally come and save sister-in-law and let her be touched? Why did Big Brother act so sneakily as if he was embarrassed? I really don't know what Big Brother is thinking. As Qian Yuqing dissipated, only then did everyone realize that the real Qian Yuqing had disappeared. Was the real Qian Yuqing fake from the start, or was she switched halfway through? However, under the eyes of everyone, how did Qian Yuqing manage to switch out the real Qian Yuqing? This Prince Yi sure is terrifying. He can even predict this. Huang Fei tightly clenched his fists. I won't let today's matter go just like this. Huang Yun, hurry up and run. Don't act recklessly. However, will Huang Yun run? He obviously won't run. Today, either Yihua dies, or I, Huang Yun, dies. Yihua. I am going to take your dog life. Huang Yun no longer concealed his strength. The sun and moon divine breath in his hands shone brightly, and a terrifying aura immediately engulfed the entire wedding ceremony. The clear sky became densely covered with dark clouds, and rumbling sounds rang out in the sky, seemingly wanting to penetrate through the entire world. Is this the strength of a supreme overlord? Everyone present could feel it. It is indeed very powerful. Most likely, Prince Yi is going to be beaten to death. You want to kill this prince? Yihua's voice suddenly rang out beside Huang Yun's ears. Huang Yun turned his head to take a look, and Yihua's handsome face was revealed. Yihua stretched out his left hand and fiercely slapped towards the back of Huang Yun's neck. Bang! Under this slap, a terrifying cyclone was created, and the entire spiritual capital could feel it. The sky that was densely covered with dark clouds just a moment ago suddenly cleared up, and following Yihua's slap, Huang Yun directly descended. He landed precisely in front of Huang Fei's feet. His intention couldn't be any more obvious. I won't kill your son. Your son, you do it. Looking at Prince Yi, who was in the sky, everyone was endlessly shocked. With a slap, Yihua slapped the Supreme Overlord down, as if he was slapping a dog. How is this possible? Prince Yi actually has such strength. Huang Fei finally understood why Jackdaw betrayed him. Between death and betrayal, Jackdaw would definitely choose the latter. This Yihua is actually so powerful. My son, you are truly foolish. You should have run just now. In actuality, running is also useless. Today, Huang Yun is being forced to death, there is no other possibility. Yi Shan stared blankly at his eldest son Yihua. He completely didn't expect that Yihua would actually have such strength, to be able to completely suppress the royal family. No wonder Yi Yuanqing would help Yihua, he definitely knows something. But I still hate you, this unfilial son. No matter how powerful you are, I am still the same. When Yi Yuanqing saw his big brother slapping the Supreme Overlord down from the sky with a single slap, he couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Big brother is awesome. Jackdaw didn't say anything. In actuality, the current Huang Yun still hasn't become a true Supreme Overlord. He had only just absorbed the Supreme Overlord. If he wanted to stabilize it, it would take 1,000 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 1055. Huang Feidi looked at his son in front of him and his chest heaved up and down. Just now, Yihua's attack directly scattered Huang Yun's primordial spirit. How is this possible? It has only been 1,000 years and he actually grew to such an extent. If he was given another few thousand years, what would he become? Yihua slowly landed on his seat and said softly, "Your Majesty, I have taken down the person who killed my brother." What he meant was, it's all up to you now. Huang Yun didn't die, but he was vomiting blood and staring at Yihua. This was hatred that came from the depths of his soul. "I will kill you. I will definitely kill you," Huang Yun muttered. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Yihua and throw his soul into the magma of the abyss. Yihua said faintly, "Stubborn. Your Majesty, how should we punish this unfilial son who killed his brother?" Jackdaw said faintly, "According to the imperial family's laws, he will be executed on the spot." Huang Feidi clenched his fists and looked at the officials. All of them lowered their heads. These people. They want me to kill my son. So vicious. So vicious. Huang Feidi clenched his fists and looked at Yihua. Yihua noticed Huang Feidi's gaze. This should be a type of pleading, asking me to spare his son this once. After all, only I can save your son right now. But that is impossible. You want to kill me, you want to kill my mother, and you even sent people to capture my woman. I am not a kind person, and the blood on my hands is not something you can imagine. Your Majesty, is it true that a prince will be punished the same as a commoner? Yihua said faintly. If you don't kill my son today, I will not let this matter rest. Huang Feidi took a deep breath and said, "The 9th prince killed his brother, he is extremely vicious." Before Huang Feidi could finish, Huang Yun stood up shakily. His wedding robe was a bit tattered, and his hair was messy. He didn't look like a prince at all. Yihua. You want father to kill me? Let me tell you. Impossible. I, Huang Yun, will not let you succeed. After speaking, Huang Yun looked at Huang Feidi and said, "Father, I have embarrassed you. Yihua. One day, I will beat you. You will one day. Just you wait." Huang Yun glared at Yihua angrily. In the end, he raised his head and looked towards the blue sky of Lingdu. After taking one last look at the sky that had raised him, he slowly raised his right hand. Bang! An oppressive sound rang out as Huang Yun smacked his own forehead, causing his brain to explode. There was dead silence. The 9th prince had taken his own life. Everyone felt a chill run down their spine. This was the first time they had seen someone force a member of the royal family to commit suicide. Huang Feidi watched as Huang Yun died in front of him. This was his most beloved son. But today, he was forced to die in front of him. But there was nothing he could do. Huang Feidi slowly turned his head and looked towards Yihua, and Yihua also looked towards Huang Feidi. The atmosphere at the scene had frozen to the extreme. Prince Yi had forced the emperor's son to his death. If they were to fight now, it would be very normal. Judging from their strength, Prince Yi had the advantage. Could it be that Prince Yi still wanted to seize the throne today? Of course, Yihua did not plan to usurp the throne. What is so good about being the emperor of the gods' realm? Right at this moment, a few more people appeared at the scene. Yihua looked at the people who just arrived, and a trace of an arc appeared on the corner of his mouth. When everyone saw the 3 people who suddenly appeared, they were very puzzled. Who are this man and 2 women? To be more precise, this man is the emperor's imperial bodyguard, Sky-bearing Empire. However, who are these 2 women who are suffocatingly beautiful? That's right. The 2 women that Yihua was looking at were precisely Qingye and Donghuang Baiji. Of course, this is also a part of the plan. I, the Supreme Overlord, am rather cautious. Yi Yuanqing looked at the two women who suddenly appeared, and his intuition told him that the two women are related to Big Brother. When Qian Yuqing saw the two women, she lightly bit onto her lips. The two women are Yi Hua's wives, and they even have children with Yi Hua. However, I have never even been on Yi Hua's bed before, and I am already very backward. I was clearly the one who first got to know Yi Hua, and it was only a few days ago that I kissed him for the first time, and it was also the first time that Yi Hua touched me, when Huang Feidy saw that sky-bearing empire had appeared, and that sky-bearing empire had even brought along two women, without needing to think too much, he knew what the identity of the two women were. Your Majesty, what is the meaning of this? Yi Hua asked gravely. Shan Junren felt his scalp going numb. This Prince Yi seems to be looking for an excuse to mess with the Emperor. Everyone felt the same way. The Emperor sent people to kidnap Prince Ye's family, and I didn't expect that the Emperor would appear now. Seems like this is another one of Prince Ye's tricks. Huang Feidy was very angry right now, but at least he still had a trace of clear-headedness. It has been a few days since I went to Sky-Bearing Empire. However, for them to appear at such a crucial time, I am afraid that it was also arranged by Yi Hua. Damn it! You have already killed my two sons, what else do you want? Do you want me to die as well? Suddenly, Huang Feidy laughed out loud and said, Prince Yi, it's a misunderstanding, I know that you are bored in Spiritual City, so I specially brought your relatives up here to have a gathering. Everyone swallowed their saliva. My son just died, and he is actually still able to laugh, and he is even explaining it to his enemy. Just how much courage does he need to do that? The Emperor is so pitiful. At this moment, Sky-Bearing Empire said respectfully, Prince Yi, it is indeed so. His Majesty has sent us to bring Prince Yi's beloved wives up here to have a gathering. I didn't expect that these two women were actually Prince Yi's beloved wives. Oh my god, they are actually so beautiful, not at all inferior to Qian Yuqing's beauty. Could it be that Prince Yi is not interested in Qian Yuqing? With such a wife, I am indeed not interested in him. Yi Yuanqing had an expression of as expected on his face. So these two are my sisters-in-law, they are really beautiful. So beautiful to the point that bubbles are bubbling, I am truly envious of them. Their looks are truly a perfect match. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji both had a smile on their faces throughout the entire process, seemingly not feeling threatened at all, giving off a kind feeling. Yi Hua looked towards Huang Feidy and said in a low voice, Your Majesty, is it really so? Huang Feidy felt a surge of warmth in his chest, and he forcefully held back his laughter and said, Of course it is so, Prince Yi is a meritorious official. You exposed the crimes of this bastard, got rid of a scourge for Spiritual City, and also got rid of a malignant tumor for the royal family. Let us raise our cups and congratulate Prince Yi. What is despair? The murderer is right in front of you, yet you are unable to do anything, and you even have to fawn on him, say good things about him, congratulate him, and even say that your dead son is worthless. Right now, Huang Feidy could feel that this is hatred that comes from the soul. Yi Hua brought Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji up here because he wanted this to happen. I killed your son, yet you can only watch on, and you even have to congratulate me with a smile on your face. Can you afford to offend my women? End of this chapter. Chapter 1056. Furthermore, Yi Hua also wanted to bring Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji to meet his mother. After all, she was an elder. How could she bring her mother to see her daughter-in-law? This didn't seem to be in line with the rules. It seemed rude. The officials raised their cups and shouted, Prince Yi is wise. Although Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji didn't know what happened, they felt that Yi Hua must have finished acting cool just now. This scoundrel, he didn't even bring his wife along for the fun of it. He even became a prince here and made the emperor speechless with anger. After drinking this cup of wine, Huang Feidi said with a heavy tone, "What happened today is this emperor's responsibility. I didn't discipline the prince properly, which resulted in such a tragedy. I have truly let down my ancestors, let down the people of the gods. I will clear the first prince's name, and the ninth prince, Huang Yun. He was stripped of his imperial status and demoted to a commoner. His evil deeds will be announced to the world. The marriage between the ninth prince and Qian Yuqing is over. General Yi has done a great service by exposing us this time. I will allow you to marry freely. Yi Shan. You have taught 2 good children. With them around, the Yi family will surely achieve glory once again." Yi Shan trembled in fear and quickly cupped his hands. Yi Yuanqing was very happy. Now, without his big brother saying anything, the emperor knew what to do. He was finally free. Shan Yu also heaved a sigh of relief. Finally, he did not want to marry this violent woman. After saying all these, Huang Feidi even took a look at Yi Hua, seemingly asking, "Are you satisfied now?" Yi Hua was indeed satisfied, thus he said, "Your Majesty is wise." Following Yi Hua's shout, everyone started shouting as well. "I will be leaving first. My body isn't feeling too well. Everyone, please help yourselves." After speaking, Huang Feidi left. Jackdaw didn't follow Huang Feidi. Instead, he looked towards Yi Hua. Yi Hua nodded. Jackdaw was overjoyed, and it instantly disappeared from where it was standing. This was the taste of freedom. Yi Hua waved his hand towards Qingye and Donghuang Baiji. Didn't his 2 wives know what their man wanted to do? Acting cool was his motto. Using himself to act cool was his weapon. Indeed, Yi Hua raised up the wine cup and shouted, "Let's not return until we are drunk. Let's drink till we're drunk." The ministers raised their wine glasses and shouted. However, Huang Yun's corpse was still lying at the side, his eyes wide open. Huang Feidi, who had just left, heard the voice coming from behind him. He could no longer hold it in and vomited a mouthful of blood onto the ground. "Your Majesty! Your Majesty!" The eunuch hurried over to support him. Huang Feidi waved his hand and continued walking forward. His eyes were filled with determination. "Yi Hua, this emperor, will remember this enmity. Just you wait for this emperor. You will pay for your arrogance one day. This time, this emperor will bet all of his wealth to fight with you. If you don't kill me today, then next time, I will kill you." However, how could Yi Hua not understand the principle of cutting weeds and getting rid of the roots? There were 2 reasons why he didn't kill Huang Feidi. First of all, if he wanted to kill him openly, he was still a little lacking. Secondly, this Huang Feidi could be considered as a relatively good opponent. If he were to die so quickly, wouldn't it be a pity that I don't even have an opponent? So you need to keep it. The main body still gave him 2 choices. One was to enjoy life and continue to be an emperor, while the other was in deep despair. Believe me, next time, you will suffer even more pain, I never lie. Apart from cheating his wife. On the way back to Yi family, Yi Yuanqing kept on calling her sister-in-law left and right. Donghuang Baiji and Qingye's hearts were bursting with joy. Is this Yi Hua's little sister? She looks so cute. Sister-in-law, the 2 of you are so beautiful, the super beautiful kind. Of course, Yi Yuanqing wasn't bootlicking, he was truly sighing in admiration. A woman can actually grow to such an extent, this is too exaggerated. Just what did she eat to grow up? Towards Yi Yuanqing's praise, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were very happy. The 2 of them took out red packets. After all, it was their first time meeting each other. Yi Yuanqing was a bit confused, not knowing what the red packets were. Yi Hua sat at the side and said faintly, "This is a type of blessing, accept it." Yi Yuanqing accepted the red packets happily. "Thank you, sister-in-law." In actuality, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were still very nervous. "We are going to meet Yi Hua's mother soon, what should we do? Will Yi Hua's mother hate us? We are so nervous." Looking at how nervous Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were, Yi Hua revealed a light smile. "So there is actually something that can scare you to this extent. Sister-in-law, you too don't have to be nervous, Aunt Lu is actually very easygoing." Yi Yuanqing felt that the two sisters-in-law were pretty good, both of them were obedient and virtuous. Seems like the type that big brother likes has never changed. Qingye pursed her lips and said in a low voice, "Really?" "Of course." Yi Yuanqing covered his mouth and laughed lightly. "Sister-in-law Qingye is so cute. Why don't I see Qian Yuqing?" Donghuang Baizhi asked curiously. Hearing that, Yi Hua said faintly, "Why are you mentioning her?" Yi Yuanqing became unhappy and said, "Big brother, sister-in-law is about to commit suicide for you, and you are still saying this, commit suicide?" Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi cried out in surprise. "That's right, sister-in-law is so pitiful. Let me tell you too, how did big brother treat sister-in-law?" In the following period of time, Yi Yuanqing began scolding his big brother. In any case, he is cold-blooded towards sister-in-law. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi saw Yi Hua's attitude. Back then at the entrance of the palace, Yi Hua was already like this. However, it was strange, when did Yi Hua not like beauties? Could it be that he minded it because it was in the past? The possibility of that was very big. This Qian Yuqing is indeed pitiful, and Donghuang Baizhi felt that Qian Yuqing is even more pitiful than me. After all, back then, Yi Hua didn't say any sarcastic words to me, and his attitude of admitting his mistake was still considered to be honest. This Qian Yuqing is miserable. Sigh, Qingye said in a low voice, "Yi Hua, actually, Qian Yuqing is quite a good person, why don't you consider her?" "That's right, you shouldn't lecture others like that. No matter what, you still have an engagement with her in the past." Donghuang Baizhi persuaded from the side. Yi Hua's expression turned cold as he said gravely, "Enough. Don't mention this matter anymore." Yi Hua's attitude gave the three women a fright. Did he eat dynamite? Qingye felt that this Yi Hua is a fake, he doesn't even want beauties, I have already given in, and yet he still dares to say such words. The carriage slowly stopped in front of Yi Hua's house, and Yi Hua entered the house with his two wives, while Yi Yuanqing followed behind them. A carriage followed behind them, and of course, it was Yi Shan. I am simply about to explode from anger. Is this my home, or is this your home? Big brother, big brother. When Yi Juetian saw that his big brother had returned, he hurriedly ran over. When he saw Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi, he went into a daze for a moment, then hurriedly shouted out, "Sisters-in-law." End of this chapter. Chapter 1057. Towards Yi Hua's blood-related younger brother, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were very courteous towards him. I didn't expect that Yi Hua would be able to receive so much affection from Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi, and they were truly happy for Yi Hua. Big brother, mother is waiting for your news inside, also. Yi Juetian said intermittently. Who else? Yi Hua asked gravely. Sister-in-law is here too. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. In actuality, Qian Yuqing had already come over long ago. Looking at how intimate Yi Hua was with his two wives, Qian Yuqing felt a bit jealous. Why can't you call me over? I can also act coquettishly in your embrace and do the things that you like to do. Hugging onto Qian Yuqing, I can also make other men feel jealous. Yihua's expression turned cold as he questioned, what is she doing here? Yihua, why are you acting like this? Qingye couldn't help but say. How can you treat a girl like this? Moreover, it is a girl who likes you, you are too heartless. Yihua, you weren't like this in the past. Although Dongwang Baiji didn't say anything, she didn't like this heartless version of Yihua. This heartless version of Yihua was just like how he treated me back then. Big brother, please stop scolding sister-in-law. She is so pitiful. Yi Yuanqing also begged. Sister-in-law was already pitiful enough. She only wanted to be with you. Right now, the four of them were pleading for Qian Yuqing together. However, it was useless. Yihua's attitude was still the same as before, seemingly determined to not want Qian Yuqing at all. Facing Yihua's stubbornness, everyone could only hope that Yihua's mother would be able to speak a sentence of justice. The group walked into Lu Jing's courtyard. At this moment, in the courtyard, Lu Jing and Qian Yuqing were sitting in the pavilion. Qian Yuqing had already changed her clothes. Lu Jing was holding her hands, seemingly comforting her. However, when Qian Yuqing saw that Yihua had brought his wife over, she immediately stood up and stood at the side with her head lowered. She was basically the same as Daji beside him. When Qingye and Donghuang Baiji saw Qian Yuqing's actions, they really wanted to teach Yihua a lesson. Daji was being respectful, but Qian Yuqing was obviously being scared. Look at what you've done. You actually scared a girl who likes you to this extent. No respect for women at all. If Yihua were to know what his two wives were thinking, he would definitely have a good argument with them. When I look for women, you say that I am lecherous. When I don't look for women, you say that I don't respect women. Is this the logic of you women? Lu Jing's eyes lit up when she saw the two girls beside her son. Isn't she the woman in the photo? She was even more beautiful in person than in the photos, and her demeanor was also dignified. This daughter-in-law was very satisfied. From the looks of it, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji could be considered to have passed the first stage. After all, the first impression was very important. Yihua walked forward and ignored Qian Yuqing, who was at the side, as he said lightly, "Mother, this is Qingye, and this is Donghuang Baiji, both of them are my wives." Qian Yuqing, who was standing at the side, felt a bit uncomfortable. How I wish that Yihua would also introduce me like this. If that were the case, I would definitely be happy for a few years. However, the current Yihua didn't even bother to look him in the eye. In that case, why did he kill Huang Yun to save him? Qian Yuqing was completely in a mess. I don't know what Yihua is thinking. This man's heart is truly like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. I am truly unable to fathom him. Following Yihua's introduction, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji walked forward and called out tenderly, "Mother." Originally, Yihua wanted to call her mother, but when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Ah, good boy. Lu Jing was very happy. She lightly held on to Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's hands, and from the tone of her voice, it could be heard that she was very gentle. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian, who were standing at the back, looked at their sister-in-law and felt that she was very pitiful, standing all alone at the side. "You two have a good chat, I will go and rest first," Yihua said faintly. Lu Jing shouted out lightly, "Yihua, wait a moment, mother has something to say to you." Yihua stopped his footsteps. He could clearly feel that his mother wanted to say something. Right now, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji naturally had to stand on Lu Jing's side. Thus, the two women immediately pulled Yihua over, and Qingye said, "Yihua, mother has something to say, sit down." Lu Jing was very satisfied with Qingye's actions. This kind of daughter-in-law can be counted as sensible. Daughter-in-law doesn't like those who are unreasonable. Yihua helplessly sat down, then said faintly, "Daji, brew a cup of tea." "All right." Lu Jing revealed out a gentle smile. You two sit down too, don't just stand there. Alright, mother. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji weren't that nervous anymore. Yihua's mother is indeed easy to talk to, she isn't that kind of formidable mother-in-law. When I just came here, I was already afraid of meeting a formidable mother-in-law. Lu Jing gradually became serious, then said towards Qinya and Donghuang Baiji, Yihua, it has been hard on you two to take care of him all these years. The two women hurriedly replied politely. However, in their hearts, they were thinking, not only has it been hard on me, it has also been extremely hard on me. With that temper of his, which woman would be able to endure it? Furthermore, he often lies to you, and if he doesn't act cool for a period of time, he would feel uncomfortable all over his body. He would bring his subordinates and cause all sorts of trouble, just like a child, and yet, he still acts like an adult every single day. Mother's words might have wronged you too, but mother has no choice but to say it. I hope that you two can understand. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji nodded their heads obediently, they knew what Lu Jing wanted to say. However, at this moment, Yihua said gravely, Mother, this matter. However, before Yihua could finish, Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice, Yihua. When mother is speaking, don't interrupt. Yihua, Yijuetian, Yiyuanqing, this sister-in-law sure is formidable, to actually dare to teach big brother a lesson. Even Lu Jing has a whole new level of respect for Donghuang Baiji. However, this is also good, there must be a woman who can suppress my son. Qian Yuqing, who was standing at the back, felt very wronged. Yihua, do you really dislike me that much? Right at this moment, Lu Jing said with a pleading tone, Qinya, Baiji, mother's request is a bit too much, but I still hope that you two can accept Yuqing. Yuqing has suffered a lot during these few years, mother can see it with my own eyes, and I dote on her in my heart. Hearing that Lu Jing was speaking up for her, Qian Yuqing tightly pinched onto the corner of her clothes, and she bit onto her lips to the point that her hair turned white. However, at this moment, Yihua spoke again, Mother, this kind of matter cannot be forced. I already have a wife. Yihua, mother is asking us, not you. Please don't speak anymore. Qinya said sternly. Right now, there is no place for you to speak. These two women are great, I am afraid that with mother backing you up, you two can be rude to me, right? You two are formidable. I will properly teach you two a lesson in the future. Tears were swirling around in Qian Yuqing's eyes. Yihua is still rejecting me, just what is wrong with me? End of this chapter. Chapter 1058. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji could be seen holding on to Lu Jing's hands. As the big sister, Qinya said first, Mother, we have heard about the matter between Yihua and Qian Yuqing. During this period of time, we have also thought about it. What mother said is right, a man should finish what he started. Since Yihua and Qian Yuqing already had an engagement in the past, it naturally still counts. In the end, we are the ones who interfered with them. Following what Qinya said, Lu Jing liked her more and more. What a sensible daughter-in-law, her words are so pleasant to hear. Even Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian liked these two sisters-in-law even more. Big brother is really good at finding wives. Qian Yuqing was almost moved to death. I didn't expect that they would actually be so magnanimous. I will definitely treat them well in the future. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji weren't stupid. Although they were a little annoyed at the start, when they heard about Yihua and Qian Yuqing's love history, they couldn't help but feel helpless. They felt like they were in the same boat, and with Lu Jing's attitude, why not push the boat forward? Helping others achieve their goals. After all, this was also a problem left behind by history. However, Yihua's attitude right now was very angry. You two are really good children, it's just that my Yihua is not sensible. Yuqing has done so much for you, even if your heart is a piece of iron, you should still loosen up a little. Lu Jing said helplessly. Yihua took a deep breath, but still didn't say anything. Qingya laughed, Mother, you don't have to care about him, in the family, we have the final say. Really? Lu Jing's eyes shone. If Qingya has the final say in the family, that would be great. Of course, isn't Yihua like this? Qingya smiled towards Yihua. It seems that if you dare to say the word no, you will be finished. In the future, don't think about using us to act cool. Yihua sighed helplessly, then stood up and said faintly, up to you. After finished speaking, he walked out of the courtyard. Seeing that Yihua had compromised, Qingya blinked her beautiful eyes mischievously. Mother, I told you, I am definitely right. That is great. Lu Jing also let go of the stone in her heart. Qian Yuqing was also very happy. Let's enter the house first, and Yihua's action just now could be considered as tacit agreement. Yihua's actions just now could be considered as his tacit consent. Qian Yuqing bowed slightly and said sincerely. Without their efforts, she wouldn't even have this tacit agreement. Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji walked up and helped Qian Yuqing up. Qian Yuqing is also a woman who was harmed by Yihua. Look at her eyes, she is holding back her tears, seemingly afraid that Yihua will scold her. This Yihua only knows how to bully his own woman, he is truly shameless. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian were also happy for their sister-in-law. Although their big brother didn't admit it, he had tacitly agreed. This was already a good start. Seeing that the sisters-in-law were sitting together and chatting, the two followed Yihua out of the room and didn't participate in the conversation. He really envied his big brother's luck with women. His three sisters-in-law were all so outstanding, and he heard that there was still one sister-in-law who wasn't around. Yi Juetian really wanted his big brother to teach him how to pick up girls. How to make a girl fall head over heels for you, just like his sister-in-law, who had fallen head over heels for 1,000 years. Which woman could do this? At least in the entire God's realm, only sister-in-law could do it. Big brother, wait up, don't walk so fast. Yi Yuanqing jogged along the way, and Yi Juetian did the same as well. Yihua slowed down his footsteps and stood beside the fish pond. Then, he picked up the feed at the side and threw some into the fish pond. Very quickly, a school of fish was lured over. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian stood at the two sides of Yihua. In the two's eyes, Big Brother was the most awesome person in the world. Look at his expression, even throwing some feed feels like he is acting cool. Big Brother, why did you suddenly tacitly agree with Big Sister-in-law? Yi Juetian asked curiously. Towards this question, Yi Yuanqing was also very curious. Could it really be because of the sisters-in-law's persuasion? However, Yihua said faintly, when did I reject them? Hearing Yihua's words, Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian went into a daze for a moment, and their mouths opened wide. Then, Big Brother, why did you keep rejecting Big Sister-in-law? Yi Juetian felt that the amount of information he received was rather big. Just what is going on? Yihua said faintly, if I don't reject her, how am I going to create a pitiful woman? The corner of Yi Yuanqing's mouth twitched. So, Big Brother has even schemed against Big Sister-in-law. Then, why did you create such a situation? Yi Juetian hurriedly asked. Yihua said faintly, you two might not know this, but your sisters-in-law loves to be jealous the most. In the past, she was known as the jealousy king of the cultivation world. If I didn't make them feel that Yuqing is pitiful and take the initiative to push Yuqing over to me, Big Brother, wouldn't have a good life. After finished speaking, Yihua scattered some feed. That's right. From the very start, I had been scheming against this. Motherfucker, Qian Yuqing is such a beautiful woman, how could I possibly let go of her? Of course, this can only be done after a long period of planning. Therefore, I could only pretend that I didn't care about Qian Yuqing, and furthermore, I had to pretend that I felt very uncomfortable. First, I put on an act in front of Qingye and Dongwang Baiji in the imperial palace, making it seem as if I felt very uncomfortable. Then, I soared into the sky in front of the two women's eyes, making it seem as if the knot in my heart had been resolved. In actuality, during those few days, I had been scheming on how to make those two women take the initiative to push Qian Yuqing into my embrace. After arriving at God's realm, I ignored Qian Yuqing. Even when I pressed Qian Yuqing onto the bed, I endured it all. The mission that I gave Wei Chang was to definitely make Qingye and Donghuang Baiji come up to me. If they don't come up to me, how would they be able to hear about Qian Yuqing's tragic incident? This was all thanks to the emperor's assistance. Afterward, I had to put on an act in front of Qingye and Donghuang Baiji, making them think back to how I was back then. At that time, I would definitely have a feeling that my heart is in sync with mine, and they would definitely pity Qian Yuqing. In the end, everything went according to what I had planned. Therefore, in order to give Qingye and Donghuang Baiji a proper reason to come up to me, I had simply gone in a big circle. Therefore, from the very start, my plan was to get the beautiful woman Qian Yuqing. As for the rest, those are just collateral damage. After all, my personality of liking super beautiful women hasn't changed. Ha ha ha. I am still as outstanding as ever. I want to keep a low profile, but my strength doesn't allow me to do so. Furthermore, by doing this, Qian Yuqing will become a super obedient woman. Because she will be afraid of me getting angry, no matter how excessive my request is, I will still agree to it. Thinking about it, this is indeed a bit exciting. This kind of secret matter, I naturally won't tell Qian Yuqing about it. Right now, my skill in deceiving people is truly becoming more and more superb. Everyone who doesn't know about it might even think that I am targeting the emperor. Am I that bored? If it wasn't for me wanting everything to become a matter of course, I wouldn't have done these boring things. End of this chapter. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.